and welcome to the Dota Pro Circuit. We are here with the Chinese region, brought to you by Perfect World. My name is Roman, and joining me on the panel today, we've got Lizard and we've got Lacoste to break down this singular best of 3 series we've got coming up, and this one should be very convincing. Let's be honest, guys. We're not beating it around the bush. It's probably going to be a bit of a whooping here if Elephant are anywhere close to how they've been in the past few months. But so far, they kind of haven't been, have they?
Yeah, we're coming here to the office, and everyone kind of agrees that it should be an easy 2-0 series. Then Black says for LBZS. You know, so like both of these teams are currently 0 and 2. So like Elephant, of course, has and should have the upper hand in this matchup, but you never know what could happen. Like their performance was really not top notch.
Elephant did win one game versus IG.
IG, exactly.
Yeah,
they won one game out of 4.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not you know, somewhere they would like to be, because looking at their names, these are the players that are aiming for the top. Yeah. You know, they've been on the top, they want to be there once again. Judging by their performance, how things started in this DPC season, it's not looking good. You know, they're 0 and 2. This shouldn't be as close as the other ones, but we never know. You don't know how they're gonna show up, and you know, I was thinking about it. Like their coach, a bit unexperienced. Lizard talked about him the other day. Maybe, you know, it's time to bring ROTK in. No matter the cost, it's probably worth it.
The position 5, right? Like he's also fairly new, right?
He is, Red Panther. He's the kind of the fresh-faced newbie on the team. But, I mean, they're doing perfectly well with that. The one change in this tournament is that coach, right? You know, they wanted to bring in ROTK. The organization said they couldn't afford him, and therefore we don't have ROTK and instead have someone a little bit fresher. And it does not seem to be working. So some changes do need to be made, whether that be in the team or within the actual players or coach.
If I was a player and we couldn't afford a coach such as ROTK, I would personally be willing to give up a percentage of my pay, you know, to pay ROTK, because he's that good. He really is.
Yeah, I agree. If you can get a coach of that caliber, especially now when you're losing as a top-tier team, you have to do something. And the easiest change to do is to change or to get a new coach, right? Like that's how you refresh the synergy, refresh the harmony within the team without removing anyone from the actual roster. Because as Elephant, like you don't want to be here. And if this wasn't Chinese region, if this was like EU or CIS, this team would have fallen apart already.
And to get an idea of how things are going for Elephant, of course, we can have a look at the standings and see exactly where these two teams are. And you have to look pretty far to find them, because they are, of course, down at the bottom. Elephant, LBZS, and Magma, the 3 teams in the upper division who are currently 0 and 2 in the series score. Not looking too pretty for these guys. Definitely could use a win, especially with the break. I mean, the break's coming up, what, week after next for China for the Chinese New Year? So you don't want to be going into that break having not won a single. I mean, I don't know. There's questions about whether they'd even come back after
break
that.
might turn into breakup.
Oh. It might be early, but Lacoste is still on it today.
He was asking me if I wrote down any one-liners before
any
the
jokes
panel.
prepared, you know, for the show.
I see why he was definitely doing it.
No, I don't do that, you know. It just comes to my mind, even though it's still early. I'm surprised my brain is working this good this early. But LBZS, you know, they as a team kind of struggling, same as Magma, where like everyone knows what they need to do in the laning stage. They know how to play the lanes. Drafts look solid, nothing too like spectacular. They are picking the meta heroes. It's just after the laning stage is done, if you like lost to 3k gold lead, this is where they struggle, you know, coming back into the game, deciding what they need to do, like the rotations around the map. Like I think this is something that all teams in Dota right now who are not top tier teams struggle with, where like players are skilled enough, you know, you have 5 players who are in top 100, top 200, and they know how to play the game. But when it comes to like what everyone needs to do after the laning stage is done, this is where the problem starts.
That logo, dude.
This is also
The logo is just creepy.
magnificent. Watch them all standing there with their arms crossed, trying to look all tough, and then just like this little happy little kawaii sun comes up, and it's like. Mm.
They do look pretty cool, pretty serious on their pictures. I just love the way the media team has done everything around this event. Did you guys see their setup as well on the LAN?
Yeah, it's like an old English street. Cool. Reminds me of home.
It looks really cool. Back to LBZS and what Lacoste was saying. Specifically, when a patch hits, teams find it a little bit harder to figure out what to do after post-laning stage. Also, is it only because of the items that are picked up, and sometimes an item that you buy, let's say on a playmaker such as Puck, because you copy everyone else, such as Witchblade, right? Like you copy that build and suddenly you don't actually have a playmaker anymore. You have a Puck that wants to come into the fights after someone to hit, to actually deal damage. And there's a couple of these items that are showing up that are slowing the pace down of some of these teams, and they can get trapped. Also, you can see teams playing much less around the triangle, protecting that area, because some of those cores that are benefiting from the triangle aren't picked anymore. And when you pick some Ricky and you try to protect it, it's like it doesn't make sense because he doesn't benefit from it as fast.
Yesterday, I was just thinking about, why are some of these heroes so strong? I don't think it's the problem of the heroes. I think Battle Fury, once again, is just a broken item. Like if we, let's say, nerf the Battle Fury a bit, like Ursa's not going to be that viable, and neither will Ricky. Troll is kind of different story where people decided to go more for a Maelstrom build, which I really like.
I also think is really strong right now.
Yeah,
as well
Maelstrom is also good. We have 3 items that are extremely strong. It's Battle Fury. Well, let's say extremely. Battle Fury, Maelstrom is all right, and then you have Necros. Like Necronomicon is the item that makes Lycan work. If you didn't have Necros that are as strong, it would be much harder for him to kill you off so easily. If he doesn't burn your mana in 5 seconds completely, or if he doesn't kill you because of that changed damage.
And that feral global. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, I don't think Necro is broken. It just feels like really, really strong on Lycan. And
on Beast and Enigma as well. Like Enigmas are buying Necros every game. It's not an item that you usually want on an Enigma, but
sure. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. Just that push that you have with the Eidolons.
Are you buying Necros? Is that it? Like he's just protecting it. I see.
You don't want Gaven to come for your Necros, do you, Lacoste?
That's how it works,
All right, let's talk comparisons and talking about these two teams. I think one place we can certainly look to is the mid lane. Of course, Elephant, they've got Somnus, one of the all-time greats of the Chinese region, especially in that mid lane. He's been in several TI finals. And meanwhile, on the side of LBZS, a relative newcomer on AX. But these statistics, they actually seem to be pretty closely matched. I mean, these statistics are taken from this event and from 1 month before the event. So that would include Dota Pit as well, which is an event which I think Elephant won, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did. So 3-1 against LGD.
Yeah. Overall, Somnus, in some games, like we saw one game when they were winning, he had that Puck performance which was out of this world on mid lane. Every other game, it just didn't look that great. Like the game afterwards, in the same series, he plays Puck.
A totally different story.
Totally different player, even.
Yeah. And I think the most interesting statistic here is obviously the hero damage minute, where Somnus is pretty low, down in one of the lower percentiles compared to averages on mid laners. Meanwhile, X's is pretty more on average, around the 50% mark at 503, which kind of just shows a difference in play style between the two players, basically. Somnus obviously preferring to maybe go for the heroes which farm a little bit more, or fight a little bit less, or maybe just burst a little bit less.
I'm looking through the heroes that he played, so it's like a Lashrak, Storm Spirit. These heroes tend to fight quite a lot, and I guess this is where the hero damage per minute difference comes from.
Yeah, and here we have the offlaners. Once again, comparing Yang and Irving, and similar interesting things to point out here, especially lane performance, where they've rated Yang pretty low in comparison. Meanwhile, Irving is once again completely on par for lane performance. So clearly, Yang, I think that makes sense, right? Elephant, tend to focus more on their mid lane and their safe lane really heavily. And Yang is often left, just on a Mars to kind of throw out some God's Rebukes, get a couple of range creeps and be happy about it,
Before we saw the statistics, I said teams like Magma, LBZS, they know how to play the lanes. You can see from the stats that they're doing really well, but it's not all about the lanes. Like one mistake, you need to decide whether you go defend your Roche or not. This is where the difference comes from. What are your movements post 10-minute mark? And this is something they struggle with. I think it's very hard for the new teams to actually, understand what needs to be done. I think that is the most hard thing in Dota for professional teams, and breaking the high ground when you need to go, just going for tier 3 towers. This still is, and pretty much always will be the hardest thing.
Remember the shrines?
Oh yeah, 5 shrines in base.
When it was already hard enough to break high ground, and then we have many instant fountains around it. That was crazy times.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's
man, the satisfaction from taking a tier 3 back then was amazing. You and your team are like, come on, get the tier 3. All inning for that tier 3, giving up heroes for it. Now, if you die taking a tier 3, you feel like a chump.
Imagine having shrines right now. No one would be able to break the high ground.
Never.
How many comebacks did we have in that patch? I don't even remember. Probably a lot.
Yeah, we had a lot of comebacks. And right now it feels like if someone is pushing high ground, all you need is 1 or 2 heroes to stall. And you can stall enough. Without the glyph, you can stall enough. Around that 30-minute mark, obviously, when heroes don't 5 seconds, the towers.
But what do you guys think of outposts, though? Do you think those are something which is good? I mean, I kind of think they're just kind of pointless, they're just kind of chilling there.
That's your 4K strategical point of view. But for real, outposts change the game in quite a few ways. It's different story how to take rush with or without the outpost.
It's a TP point.
Yeah, and it also means that you have to think about taking the tier 2 before going for rush. So there are many things connected there. Split pushing becomes difficult as well. As an offlaner, pressuring the tier 2 as an offlaner while the outpost is there is different. There's a lot of things that they bring to the game, and I think they're a good thing. Yeah,
plus when we're trying to gank the safe lane early on, and my idiot teammates walk into the vision of the outpost, it's a nice boon for my enemies. So
that's why,
that as well.
All right.
All right. Elephant, do we think they're going to the major?
They should be able to, but the question is how. They need to give their best. I don't think they can afford to lose a single series against another top-tier Chinese team. They already played against the IG. They played against the LGD. So
if they win, if they lose this series, then there's still a chance of them going to the major as spectators.
Yeah, you got me there, Nomad.
But yeah, no, it's definitely going to look hard for them if they can't. Surely they can take this series. I mean, that's why I keep telling myself.
They should be able to take this series, but what Lakos was saying as well, what most of us are thinking, besides Black, obviously, is if they don't take the series 2-0, that might be even considered failure for them, right? If you drop a game here, that can also be a bad sign. You don't even want to drop a game against LBZS. And when you're looking at the teams that LBZS have played, these are the teams that we consider top 3 already, possibly, right? They played Vici, they played PSG LGD. When you look at Elephant, they played against the teams that are looking much stronger now, don't get me wrong, but at the beginning of the tournament, of the league, we were expecting them to be the middle pack, the Aster, the IG.
So they still have to play
against
the
big
LGD.
boys.
They need to play against eHome, Vici Gaming. So a lot of tough matches for them coming up.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And in the one game we did see them winning, they went extremely meta-focused with their draft. Are we expecting that again? I mean, it was literally just like all the strong heroes. They just picked them all.
That was the one game that they actually won against IG, where they had like all the top meta picks. They had the OD position 4, Brewmaster 5, Raid King. I believe they had a puck in that game, the maybe performance you talked about. So yeah, I think what they're doing with their drafts is sometimes confusing. If you remember the game where they had IO carry and the Dead Prophet on the mid lane, we mentioned that already a couple of times in the Southeast Asia region, where like you want to pair up carry IO with someone that benefits from actually, you know, getting all that healing. Dead Prophet is not that hero. Like, still, you get the benefits from the heal, but if you compare Monkey King, let's say, to Dead Prophet, there's a huge difference.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a massive difference. Disparity between the way the two heroes function, and it just seems like that fundamental game plan.
Also the build, right? Like it looks like they're a top tier team, like the highest peak you can achieve, but they're copying what everyone else is doing when it comes to the builds. Like Wisp, you don't have to always go for that Orchid, and in that game he goes for it, even though it doesn't benefit their team at all. They can't fight with it. Most of the heroes had some form of dispel or save from that. So
throughout the Dota history, like China has always been a bit slow adapting to new stuff. They always had their own thing, but I think as time goes by, they are being a bit more faster. But you have a good point where, you know, you talk about that Orchid. It's very situational, you know, against certain heroes that are maneuverable, like Puck, Void Spirit, Ember Spirits. It's a good thing to have, but I would still prefer like going for a different type of an item build. And one thing that they need to care about, the game against IG that they lost with Rubik, NS Coddle, Ember and Tide, they have no tower damage. Like you cannot finish this game for 50 plus minutes. Even if you're staying ahead, it's going to be very hard for you to actually go for the high ground.
That was one game. First they played versus Tide, they lost. And then they instantly pick it the next game. Let's take it. And it has no use whatsoever. It just feeds. So it's weird, but it feels like they don't have the full grasp. Like they have the full grasp on the meta, what's supposed to be picked, but no real synergy between the heroes when they mash up together.
So then, what meta heroes do you think are being underpicked, or do you think it's like kind of the sleeper heroes of the patch right now, which you get to see, other than Mid-Dazzle, of course?
Mid-Dazzle, what?
How we played a game yesterday with Mid-Dazzle. This is something I have not seen ever, and I don't want to see it again. So he was playing Mid-Dazzle and gets the shard 20 minutes in, and then decides to keep spamming Grave on himself all the time just to be able to attack everyone.
With what, 60 damage?
I mean, in my defense, there was an axe in the game, so it was a useless spell anyway. But anyway, we have a draft on our hands, so let's get into it. Elephant going to start things off by banning out the OD and the Medusa.
Yeah, LBZS starting off with... so they switched it up a little bit. Usually they ban out Puck and Nyx in the first stage, multiple series, not only games in a row. This time they leave the Puck and they steal it, banning out the Kotl.
Yep. And Elephant goes straight in for the FY Shaker, so we are already in for a treat. But then again, we've been saying this previously as well. We've seen F1 as Rubik, and again, you know, just doesn't seem to be that same magic we've seen from him in previous events. So
I kind of disagree a little bit. I think FY had good performances. I think he was the stable one in the previous series. It's just that the whole 4 around him are a little bit weird.
It's hard to look good when your team is getting stomped.
As a 4.
Exactly. So, yeah, Earthshaker Troll. I was not a big fan of Earthshaker when the DPC season started. Now I'm a bit more convinced. Because everyone just gets, like, Brown Boots Magic Wand and goes for that Blink Dagger straight away. Like, you will collect the money if you don't die around like 13 to 15 minute mark with the Earthshaker, you know, a couple of assists here and there, bounties. So you will get the dagger, and the new shard feels so good.
Yeah,
it's really strong.
I didn't realize until I played it a few days ago that no matter where on the map you use totem, the fissure stuns, so it's pretty solid. Plus you can walk over it, obviously.
To give you an idea of how value that stun really is, like we've seen people drop slam just to use the aftershock on the fissure in order to like lock down something like a puck, for example, which we have in this game, to just stop them getting away. It makes total sense. Like,
you know what I'm waiting for? There's a
waiting
huge ancient stack, and you're fighting with the shard, so you fissure them, and you use Echo Slam on the ancients to farm and still stun people. Like that would be, 200 IQ play right there.
Or 10 IQ, depending on how the play actually goes.
Yeah, you just die to ancients, nothing happens.
The ancient stack's so big, they kill you straight away. They can't root you anymore. The
We
boys
don't
are
have
gone.
acolytes. Yeah,
The
we don't
boys
have
are
them.
gone.
Thank God.
All right, second stage bans, we have TA Alchemist Oracle from LBZS. Banning out that Oracle is always good with heroes such as Death Prophet, such as Troll, because it prevents them from saving these cores until they pop their ultis, or just Death Prophet heals up, right? So it's a really good ban, and it's been highly contested. Oracle has been one of those heroes that are picked in the first stage in many of our games so far.
Oh, so super annoying in like, I mean, you have like the level 1, the level 2, and it lulls you into a false sense of security, right? You play against Oracle, you're like, this guy doesn't do anything. You're just kind of cruising, and then level 3 hits, and he like nukes you for like 1 billion damage and one-shots you pretty much. You're like, oh, okay.
From Elephant, the Razor, the TB, the Beastmaster. This Razor...
Razor always banned
always
out.
versus
Troll
Troll,
never picked.
Always bad, never picked. Feels bad.
I want to see one game. What's so scary? I know he leashes you, he takes your damage, sure, but
In
it's
theory,
still, in theory, but it's still a Razor that you end up with. You know, this hero is...
All right, I like that. Most of the time, when Puck was picked in the first phase, Dragonite and the TA were banned out, so they don't go for it. I still feel this is a sleeper hero, extremely powerful, scales well, all his talents are good. This is a hero that's, might sound stupid, but he's easy to play. Like, you can't make many mistakes with a hero like a Dragonite.
And what I like about him as well is that he's adaptable, because he doesn't really need items. Your skill set is so strong. You can go for Heaven's Halberd if you want to. You can go for the Aghanims and just kind of fly over cliffs and
this what you just said. He doesn't need many items. Actually fits something different. Fits a support position. Ooh. And Dragonite obviously here is picked because of the Puck, will be mid, but I wouldn't be surprised if we once in this patch see
position 5 Dragonite.
Yeah. Just go into the lane, 2.5 second stun. Extremely tanky. He's a menace to deal with.
I agree. And we are going to see the Undying coming out from LBZS. Okay. We got a DK, we've got a Shaker. He's got some strength of steel already.
Yeah, they picked the Undying before, I believe, versus Vici Gaming as well. Just a strong position 5. You don't really see who's on the offlane of Elephant.
All right, so that's one way to, just deal with all these like silences that they have. 1, 2, 3 strength heroes. So Timbersaw feels like a really, really good pick here.
Yes, it does.
Is this offlane Abaddon, by the way? Or offlane?
Oh, it's 5 Abba, I
think.
5, yeah, okay. So Dragonite mid, safe lane Troll, 5 Abba. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Abaddon plus Shaker as your support duo. Then you've got
it's okay. You have a Dragonite, so you have like the stun covered. Low cooldown stun, especially with the Earthshaker, so you don't have to take care of that. Like, why I like Dragonite so much is you get everything from the hero. You have a good laning stage, you have tower damage, you have lockdown. So, like, all these things are covered with just one hero.
Might not have that great of a laning stage if they decide to put Puck on the offlane and Timber mid. Then it can be a little bit hard for him. But Elephant, they still have an opportunity to mix things up, I guess.
You can have safe lane Dragonite, you can have off lane Dragonite, put Troll in the mid against the Timbersaw instead. So, yeah.
My only problem is you have these two heroes, Undying and Timber. And if you put Dragonite, let's say, on off lane, then you're playing into an Undying, which isn't that easy. And you're going to be paired with a Shaker. The two of you don't really do a lot to an Undying. You can creep, skip, and whatnot. That's always an option, though.
They can possibly run an aggressive tri-lane, put Dragonite on the safe lane. A lot of options still there for Elephant to, work in their own favor. Just set the lanes correctly.
Yeah, not much to really contest this troll just yet either, is there? They've kind of just let him go under the radar. I suppose you've got the Puck and the Earth Spirit to try and control him and kite him a bit, but still feels like he works quite well in this matchup against Timber. From what we've seen, he's had a very good success rate against Timbersaw.
We've seen a couple of, well, one game I remember where Ogre and Troll would kill Timber, even on level 3. Like, they would just kill him off. But in that game, Timber was completely left alone on an island, and that Timber was shut down early on. My problem is what happens when Timber has a good lane, and when he's that beast around the 10-minute mark that just goes from one tower to the other, tanks it, and you can't take him down. Because these heroes, if they're not ahead, they don't kill him. So far, at least. They need to answer that problem with their last pick.
I'm just looking at the carries left for LBZS in the pool. There aren't many that match up well against the Troll.
Yeah, Drow banned out, TB as well banned out. There's a Slark, perhaps, if they really want to try something different. But into Shaker might be a problem, but versus DK versus Troll, it's not that bad.
Yeah, versus Abaddon versus Dragonite feels good. Something he struggles a bit is the Whirling Axis to deal the damage, not the hero that buys
the ban.
MKB, but still a decent ban from Elephant. So I'm just wondering, like, you do not want to pick Juggernaut into this. Like, it's just a tough matchup against the Troll, I would say, but might be the only option they have left.
Yeah. There's who are the meta picks here? You have the Jug and you have the Ursa, right? Is there anything else that we're missing? I don't think so.
Monkey?
All right. Also could be an option. Yeah. You can flex it on the lanes as well. Okay, you have 3 heroes to choose from, none of which is perfect, but if your lanes go well enough, they would round up your draft pretty well. I actually like the Monkey.
I like Monkey as well, a bit more than Juggernaut, because you're playing it to 3 melee heroes, and like the armor will keep you alive. You also have Sustain from the Undying, good overall first line of defense with the Timbersaw, a lot of chaos coming out from the Earth Spirit.
Makes it a lot harder to flex this Dragonite as well. You can't just think about putting him offlane anymore if Monkey is picked, and makes your draft very, very flexible. So.
Yeah, seems like the perfect pick to round it off for LBZS, but we'll see what they're thinking,
Believer.
and they go in for the Ursa instead.
Yeah, they just go...
Similar idea.
Yeah, pretty much. Lane Dominator, that's melee as well. Has similar struggles to the ones of Monkey. I think still, though, Monkey would perhaps do better for your team fight composition. The combo with the Puck is good, the combo with the Earth Spirit is good, with the Undying, the Sustain. Ursa... Yeah, can be a little bit difficult versus these heroes, especially when Troll pops that ulti.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 2 ultis just to tank up the Ursa's, like, aggression with as well, with the Abaddon as well. They can kind of just shove their face into the guy. Definitely would have preferred the Monkey King, but, we'll see how this Ursa pick does for them. Maybe they have some ideas, some synergies, which they want to throw out here.
One great thing from LBZS that I'm seeing, they're throwing problems at Elephant. They're just throwing problems at them. The Undying, the Timber, the Ursa.
Yeah. So. I would love some range hero. It's very hard to play into Ursa with the melee ones.
Maybe, or
Dead Prophet or Nature's Prophet.
Venom maybe. No.
Okay.
Morph?
So,
ooh,
what is that? Is that
is this the Shaker Morphling comeback?
It's an offlane troll. Like this is why I was thinking about getting a range hero, but they're swapping things around. So Morphling can turn into what? Timbersaw and or Ursa with the overpower
into Earth Spirits, right? Like all the stones and whatnot that get to the double tombstone is nice as well. Double one tombstone for you is nice as well.
Is a good Morphling game. I agree with that. However, with their draft, I can't see it working. I think Elephant have fallen for this Galaxy Brain trap again, where they're like, oh, we're the best team in the world. We can play anything. Let's just go crazy. And I'm not sure I can get behind it, guys.
Yeah, I mean the captaining slot. I'm not sure if he's really calling all the shots, but Red Panda, I disagree with most of his drafts so far. This draft doesn't look that great too. If I was looking only at the drafts, I would definitely go for LBZS. But I feel like Elephant, they're a better team that can make this work somehow. They should at least.
Yeah. I think
This goes
this
for
can
Elephant.
work. You know, they're just thinking outside of the box a bit, putting a range hero Troll on the lane against Ursa. So this is something that he should struggle against. I'm going with the Elephant this time.
He is a strong laner, isn't he? I'm going to go LBZS, guys. I really am. I'm sorry, Elephant. I believe in you guys, but unfortunately not with this draft. And, you know, my little sunny dudes, I think they're going to take a game here. I think they're going to take this to game number 1. So let's see how that goes down. Of course, we're going to have to bring in some casters to break this one down. Our casters for today are going to be B-Cop and Black.
That looked like us.
Yeah, it was us.
Yeah.
Guys, thoughts about this draft very quickly before we get into the game.
Wanna go first, or me?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay,
Go for it.
so I think the Troll is actually a pretty good answer in lane to the Ursa. Makes a lot of sense to put him off lane against one of. He's a hard counter, you know, and the Morphling is gonna have a pretty free game. There's only the Puck that's really annoying to him. But LBZS definitely has a chance, but you know, Elephant is Elephant, so you gotta give it to them.
I think we've said that a lot of times about Elephant already. I know they've only
Yes,
played
we
2
did.
series, but it feels like every time we talk about Elephant, it's like, well, this is the super team they should win, and that's come to bite anybody who's chosen Elephant on the panel and between us a
Doesn't
couple
mean you
times.
Go Elephant anyway.
I want to. I'm thinking of LBZS. I think their beginnings have been good. Like their early games, their laning has been solid, but I'm usually there with Nomad with the LBZS pick.
I mean, it's rough,
But-
honestly. Like LBZS, Puck is the biggest counter to Morph Shaker in the game. You get this Aghanims, this Morphling just has no mobility, obviously. But I am not too sure they can pull it off, you know, because I mean, the players are still, you know, some of the best in the world. So it's a big task.
Yeah, I think Elephant just kind of need like a game to feel themselves and kind of get the mentality back. I don't know if
I thought it was game 1 though. Like they did really well in the first game when Somnus was feeling himself, and then with the Puck and stuff. Then game 2 and 3 just went downhill from there.
I don't know. Is it maybe different because they're on a land setting? Like the mentality.
But if anything, it
you
should
don't.
strengthen them, right?
Should it? Yeah, I
Because
guess.
they're like so seasoned, multiple major winners.
Yeah. That's true. I would say the only one who's not really as seasoned is Red Panda, but for the most part,
Who
I mean,
is the
these guys
drafter?
dominate.
So maybe he might be the.
Well, he's clicked in as the drafter. They still have their coach, right? So is the coach drafting, or is Red Panda drafting?
Good question.
That's what I want to know.
How do we find out?
I don't know. I'll ask somebody who's there and see if I can get that answer. Because I think that's really important, right?
It is.
Because does it matter who clicks it if it ends up being the coach?
No. I mean, that's what happens a lot of times, you know, like I mean, there is still responsibility for pressing the button, you know, because you're still the captain. You have like the last say, quote unquote.
Well,
But
didn't QQQ used to sit for LGD and
he was
he
sitting
did the
down,
drafting? Yeah.
He did everything for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the time they outdrafted their opponents. That's how they cruise into the finals of a lot of lands. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be the same way here. Like, but as I said, this Ursa is going to struggle against Troll.
Ooh, already Irving getting really low. 2 more shots needed, but they just don't have the damage to take out that Timber Song.
Wasted his healing self though to survive the last right click, so now he's going to be low HP for quite a while, which is only problematic for them.
So, you know, we're looking to figure out, like, if Elephant are going to be there, if Elephant are going to put everything together. And LBZS, they've had good laning stages. Like, that could fluster Elephant enough. Like, based on the way we've seen them play, a good laning stage from LBZS could fluster Elephant to the point where I think LBZS take this game.
That is true, but I actually really like their lanes. DK beats Puck. I think Troll, Shaker do quite well against his Ursa lane as well. At least the 5-5, maybe they will even win. And this Morphling is pretty good against Timber as well. So I'm very positive that they're going to win 2 or maybe even 3 lanes on the Radiant side. And yeah, from there on out, it's pretty easy to play Dota, you know? Especially if you're Team Elephant, who has a lot of individual skills to just struggle in those team fights. I think they will need they're like a good laning, basically.
Yeah, they should be able to get first blood as Cat gets low. He's silenced up. Red Panda gets first blood. And Irving can't get a trait. It was 2v1 there. And yet Red Panda survives it all. and gets himself the kill onto Cat-U.
Abandoned one of the best supports against Timbersaw, because you can shield off the Whirling Death debuff, which happened there, which gave him back like 20-30% of his health. And Cat-U caught out of position, got silenced up by the 4 hits, and it was a pretty weird play, honestly. Like, they just fed to a support Abaddon.
Yeah.
Not something you would see.
And they didn't even kill him in return.
Yeah. Well, you can just see this DK, 20 health region, you know, without a Tango 13. Double Bracer. This Puck just can't beat DK in lane. It's just impossible. He has too much HP region, too much sustain.
I'm such a fan of this because I think there was a long point in the Chinese region where it was just like, well, everybody would question, what are they going to pick mid? And then they would just pick DK. And like, DK was always the answer.
It's the most stable mid hero, or one of the most stable.
Yeah, Fissure onto Zhao Fu. Not enough damage, though, from Yang. Yeah, I mean, I love DK overall. We just used to see it all the time.
Careful here. Ooh, close.
Gets the distance, has the rune secured, thanks to Cat-U standing there. Red Panda coming over, though. Wants to put some aggression on Axe.
Have a Fissure available, too.
Yeah, this could be really bad if they land it. Oh, get him,
Oh, he
and
missed
the
the
illusory
pre-fire.
orb.
No, he missed the pre-fire. That was a sure kill. He did not click on the hero. Somnus.
Those are the little things, though, we've been seeing Elephant miss. That
Yeah.
it just seems so uncharacteristic.
That doesn't seem like, doesn't scream superstar to you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they still have some chemistry issues. But yeah, I mean, at least the idea is there, you know? Like, the players are really good. They know what they need to do. It's just the execution fails a little bit here and there.
Yeah, for sure. And the game's still sitting 1-0 as they miss that kill on the Puck, but they're going to roll in, try to get a kill on the Yang. Not much FY can do in this situation. Yang gets into the trees for a second. MS going to cut off his path, take out the Troll, and they've got themselves finally one on the board for LBZS.
What happened there with the Ursa? He jumped the other way. Must have misclicked or something. But
Potentially.
interesting.
Give the benefit of the doubt. They're still going for FY. This is a deep dive in, and they're going to bring X over. They've got a lot of heroes coming towards this lane as the Dragon Tail is used on the Undying. Somnus also makes a rotation. They'll land the Fissure. Not sure it's going to get them the kill, though. It's just Somnus rotating to save FY. And at the end of the day, both mids, they head up towards top.
Both rotations are very awkward. Like, Puck is level 5 rotating. DK rotating without boots. He just got them on a courier. And no mana. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about. But he still has the Dragon Form up for quite a bit, so he can pressure the tower a little bit. Maybe take off like a quarter of the health. Next rune spawning. Who's gonna get lucky? The Puck again.
Yeah, so 2 for 2.
RNG. We love it. That's what we love about Dota.
A little RNG over mid.
Yep.
Can make or break your lane.
But you see, oh, missed
Good move
roll.
by FY,
Yep.
just to avoid that roll.
He didn't even see him, I think. Oh no, he has a ward. He saw him.
Going straight Arcane Boots for that Earthshaker as well.
Interesting, because most of the time you just see them go Brown Boots Blink, which I like a lot, simply because you always get the Blink up in a reasonable time, you know. But when you go for those Arcane Boots, 900 gold is a big investment.
Yeah, it really is. Especially
Roll
when
on
the game's
DK.
quite
Coil.
slow at the moment. They've got the Dream Coil onto the DK. They've got 3 heroes here. Red Panda trying to come in to save this DK. Will with the Fissure coming in from FY2. Axe pops the haste. The Mist Coil just not enough. Surviving with 18 health.
Yeah, misplay by the... They missed their combo. They wanted to kick him out of the coil, which would have been enough for the damage to snap. But they just barely didn't do it. It was super close. But yeah, DK, a very survivable hero. If you mess up just a little thing, can turn around real quickly on you. DK absolutely crushing that mid lane. 27 CS to 45. You can see that in the net worth as well. 600 the head. 600 the head for the Morphling as well against the Timber. Roll top.
Boulder Smash, but MS already gave up on that kill, so he's not going in on the Troll.
Yeah, it's a tough kill with the Whirling Axis. DK is pressuring mid now.
Royal Jelly picked up for Elephant.
No
They've got the
ARP.
Fissure. Can they get the kill onto Axe? They're going to TP in the Timber to try and prevent this, but the TP just takes forever. Even with the Tombstone down, it doesn't look like they'll get anything from this. But maybe I've spoken too soon. Red Panda, he's hit by that Chakram Whirling Death. They're focusing their attention onto the Undying. And the Fissure, that's going to save Red Panda. They'll still go after Zhao Fu. But the Soul Rape is enough to keep him alive from the aggression of Elephant.
Yep, good combination. The puck there, he orbed, and he got fissured, dragon tailed, ran out of orb distance, orb disappeared, and he had nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Good kill. And that's what we're expecting from them, you know, those really smooth, good plays.
Yeah.
I feel like once this team actually gets going, like as a team, you know, and the chemistry gets there again, it's a really scary team. It's just lately we haven't seen that. You know,
And that happens, it's happening at a point where it seems like it can't happen. And that becomes a big issue. Yang getting pushed here with the Boulder Smash coming in, Aphotic Shield, and Red Panda now on the run. MS trying to finish him off, but he's slowed up under the tower, taking some shots. And Yang starting to go the other way. He's got the Aphotic Shield on him, so feeling pretty secure and safe, but not getting the kill again. And it's just pressure, and no results just yet.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for Dire to be in. Because, as I said, the puck is the hard counter to the combo they have on Radiant, which is the Morphling Shaker. If he's having a rough game, it doesn't matter how farmed the Ursa is or the Timber. You know, if you can't keep him in place for the Ursa to hit him, you're going to be in trouble. He's going to need that Axe, he's going to need that Blink relatively quickly because Morphling is free farming and he's going to get his items up and a very good timing.
Yeah, yours really hasn't been touched.
Yep. It's a tough lane for Timber, you know. Usually you want to pressure, but Morph doesn't care. He just creates health out of nowhere.
All the while, Somnus, Yang, and Red Panda are up towards top. Dream Coil on to 2, as well as the Geomagnetic Grip. They'll get the kill on the Yang. They'll take him out very quickly. Now look over the DK. They brought all 5 heroes up top to stop this push. Both Yang and Somnus drop, make it another with Red Panda. 3-0, and they stop this Tier 1 from going down. This is a massive rotation from LBZS. Is that, I mean, obviously they get 3 kills, so that's worth it in itself, but you know, now Eurus is definitely still free farming. Is he making up what makes that rotation from LBZ worth it?
I mean, getting 3 kills like that and defending against the Dragon Form is really good because that means he doesn't have the Dragon Form available for like another minute now, which means there's no pressure on the map for a Radiant team right now. So the rotation was really, really good, but of course, as you said, Morphling was still free farming. Shaker was farming mid lane, so it's not terrible for Elephant, but it's definitely not what they were looking for. Now you can see, you know, it's minute 10 already. He has 200 gold on the Shaker only because he went for those arcane boots. If he didn't, he would have had like close to 1.1k, you know, which is like half of the Blink Dagger. He will need a lane now, and he will need to stay there for at least 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, getting closer to like it would have been closer to like a 13-14 minute Blink Dagger if he didn't go for those arcanes.
Yeah, with those arcanes, it's looking more like he's getting like 16, 17.
Does this come back to the itemization choices that we've kind of talked about from Elephant? Some of the maybe questionable itemization from them?
It could very well be. I'm not sure why. I mean, of course, arcane boots are great on Shaker, don't get me wrong. It's just usually you can't afford to buy them simply because 900 gold is a big investment, you know?
Fairy's Trinket for the side of the Radiant is again they're going to put some pressure up in that top lane with Yang, who is an off-lane troll. I think this is the first time we've seen off-lane troll between the two divisions.
Yeah, but he's doing very well for himself. Probably going to itemize either into Eternal Shroud or the Pipe at some point. Going for the Aghanim Scepter here. Not a big fan. There's not much to dispel in this game, to be honest. Only the Earth Shock, as well as the, what's it called, Whirling Death. That's pretty much everything. And they have 2 silences, so not a big fan of that item on Troll this game. Much rather see him go, you know, for those Pipe, much more like a utility route, maybe even BKB, you know, just so you can frontline for your team. But yeah, we'll see how that...
We'll see if he finishes it. Dream Coil again up top. He'll snap it immediately, trying to run. He's got the Aphotic Shield, but the silence is on. The Mist Coil's not going to be enough. And they'll get another kill onto Yang. Zhao Fu claiming his life. And LBZS still looking good. This is where we said the best part of their game was. That early game and that mid game. Like that, those beginning parts is where we've seen the best LBZS.
Yep, but Morphling, very close to his Manta, only needs another 1000. Looking at like a minute 15 Manta style.
Yeah.
And the only scary thing this game are those silences. As soon as you have Manta, you don't care about that anymore. So as soon as he gets Manta, I would say, I don't know, maybe a 10% chance for him to die at all until they get more stunts up. On the Shaker here, nice push away from the Morphling Adaptive Strike. But yeah, this Morphling is massive.
Yeah. 6,600 net worth, sitting very much ahead of anybody on the Dire side. He's had a free game. They put the pressure onto the Troll, which would be all well and good if he was a 1-position Troll, but he's a 3, and you've left the Morphling to just kind of have a great game. And DK, he's died a couple times, but he's fine. He's topping everybody in the Dire.
Yep. DK is Ursa and Brown Boots Battle Fury, the new classic. DK itemized into Blink Dagger.
There's the roll as well as the kick.
Yep.
Earthshaker in trouble. He with that silence. They've got the Illusory Orb and the Waning Rift. X will get that kill on FY, who is still searching for that Blink Dagger. 13 minutes in, he did have 1,000 gold saved up, but dies there. Would really like that Blink Dagger. But right now, maybe he doesn't need it as quickly. You've got a Blink Dagger on the DK. He can initiate for you. Maybe you walk in, get a good echo. We've seen a bunch of those where the Blink Dagger comes a little bit later, and those first couple echoes are placed down with just, walking in. They find Red Panda again. They'll pop the borrowed time. He'll go for the TP out. But the Dream Coil gets committed. You've got 4 heroes here again from LBZS. As they across, and now the Totem. Irving finally going down. Eurus getting that kill. It was close, but Yang at the same time, he's taken out by Cat U as well as MS.
Yep, so just trading the off lanes. They're going in and then a blink.
Yeah, Blink Dragon Tail, they find Zhao Fu. They're trying to get this kill onto the Undying and will finish him off. Nobody rotating for LBZS to come in and help.
Yep, that's another tower. Good rotation. Morphling is one of the best heroes against Timber, simply because you can morph into him, you can Whirling Death him, and that makes him significantly less tanky, because obviously you lose some of your max strength. With every Whirling Death, you stack up 3 of those, you lose half your health, and even the Timber Saw with half his health is not tanky anymore. So much spell damage coming out.
So Armlet next for the DK, Armlet BKB.
Interesting, yeah. Armlet is usually either seen as a first item or not at all. You go like Armlet into Blink, but not Blink into Armlet.
Fissure?
Close. If that connects, then he's dead.
And he's at 1,700 gold. So this Blink Dagger, it's getting there for FY.
Yep.
But like we said, it feels a little bit slow. He would have had it if he just went Brown Boots into the Blink.
But,
not sure if that makes a big change in this game at the moment, though.
No, they're still having a DK who can initiate for them, so it's not all bad. And of course, that Blink Dagger timing will still be relatively decent, 17, 18 minutes. It's not terrible. Or they might be able to pick him off here again.
FY getting chased. Whirling Death, the silence again from the Geomagnetic Grip. Nothing FY can do. He's all by himself in no man's land. And dead once again. Manta picked up for the Morphling. I believe he's got that Ghost Scepter coming out, and he's close to that E-Blade already. And I know it's a long time to the Eagle song, but already has the Ghost Scepter, already has the Manta style. Like, this is looking pretty good for him. Still leading that net worth, but Ursa is making his way back as he's now surpassed the DK.
Yeah, interesting that he's going for E-Blade rather than Aggro Scepter. Yeah, usually we see the Axe into BKB, and then maybe E-Blade a bit later. But this game he's choosing to go for the E-Blade route, probably because Shaker is pretty low level. He doesn't really have those levels in the Totem or the Fissure yet. And yeah, you definitely need like level 12, 13 to make really good use of the Shaker. Still farming his Blink. Needs over 600 gold again. The death significantly slowing him down once more.
Yeah, it's becoming an issue where Earthshaker is not really making much progress to this Blink Dagger at the moment. He really needs to find some space and time to farm where he doesn't die. And back to your point about the Ags for the Morphling, it just seems like when he gets that Ags, and you've got the double fissures coming out, as well as just the Dragon Tail and the lockdown that you're going to have from Elephant, that could be a point in time where LBZS are in a lot of trouble. But like you said, Earthshaker's sitting at a pretty low level at the moment.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, this also looks really quite stupid if you become Dragon Knight and you have like a 600 range Dragon Tail. You're stunned out of nowhere instantly. Undying might be catching the smoke here. Yep, he sees them, but he should just go down.
Misses. Yeah. Now the Dragon Tail comes out. They finally control up this Undying.
Big rotation for nothing, though.
Yeah, a 5 position. I think any team is normally happy about a 5-man smoke being broken by the 5.
Yeah, a little bit of a... he tried to be cheeky, planted down the ward just as he died, but of course the Abaddon was looking at it. And And another kill because he's standing on top of an observer ward.
Now Cat-Yu gets spotted. He's going to be stunned up, and Somnus claiming that one. So a couple more kills for Elephant going their way, and that should push FY closer to that Blink Dagger. Just a couple hundred gold off, sitting at 1960. So it's creep wave. Probably another, yeah, and then he'll have that Blink Dagger.
Yep, he'll definitely need a 20 tome as well. Should get the levels up for the Morphling. But yeah, things are shaping up nicely for Radiant. The Troll is a little bit of a question mark for me, because he's itemizing into an Axe, which I said is not going to be the best, and he's already pretty poor. So he might become dead weight come mid-late game, you know, if LBZS can manage to weather the storm. Because this Dragon Knight is going to be really strong, and the Morphling, of course, you absolutely have to coil the Morphling. There's no way around it. You need to, especially once that Agons comes out. There's no other counterplay.
I'm a little worried about the Timbersaw. Like, I know that the Troll is kind of poor, and we're wondering about what his value is going to be as we go deeper into this game, but Timber only sitting at 7,500 net worth. It hasn't been the most proficient game for Irving on this hero.
He's had a rough laning phase against the Morphling. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Timber, because usually outside of laning phase, he's kind of, you know, like he goes in and doesn't really do much. Not a big fan of the hero. So probably Troll and Timber kind of cancel each other out in terms of usefulness. At least there's a little bit of potential to burst, you know, the strength supports or the DK for the Timber. Whereas the Troll is kind of a weird hero. He might be dying here again, smoking up bottom. Should be fine. Just ran out of range. He's actually farming the camp. They have a ward on him. But tough to kill him. It's a tough kill. With the Hood, 800 health. If he gets the battle trance off, can turn the fight around.
Especially fighting right by an outpost, right by a tier 2. Yeah. That's a troublesome spot if he does end up surviving.
Yeah. Ursa, for the first time in the game, taking the top net worth spot now. And we have seen this is a hero that can carry games, you know. If you get the timely enrage off, suddenly all the damage is mitigated, you can't be controlled, you kill one of those really important heroes, then you take the fight on your terms. He could make it work. Because if Morphling ever gets jumped by an Ursa, he can get blown up.
And Ursa, as we've seen in previous games, been very strong. And there it is. There's the E-Blade Ags. It'll be Ags next for the Morphling. BKB finished. A lot of early Roche potential, I would say, if LBZS end up taking a fight.
Definitely. I mean, Ursa always, you know, you win a fight, just get Roche right away. Double smoke up. Let's see who reads the map better. They're both misreading the map completely. They're walking past each other. Or, as I say that,
they're turning around. It's Red Panda who breaks the smoke. They were inside Roche. Not sure they were going to go for it, but they've got themselves the borrowed time. Pop laid down the tombstone, and now the Dream Coil comes in. That was on to FY, where the BKB gets popped. They'll take out this Earthshaker. Here's trying to make something happen as he's laid down a tombstone of his own, but they already got the kill on the Red Panda. They've taken out 2. They'll look over, is Irving with the Timber Chain as well. As this roll forward from Cat-Yu, they'll catch Yang, and he's in a lot of trouble popping that Battle Trance, trying to survive, but he is surrounded. Triple kill for MS, going even deeper. Now looking over at Eurus as well as Somnus, who have to really get out of town. LBZS, a little bit of a sloppy fight again from Elephant, but well executed. As LBZS, they're going to look for more and just jump on top of Somnus.
Yeah.
He thought they were a little busy taking the tier 1 tower, but I mean, they got time.
Not that busy.
Yeah.
Especially not if you just show up there without a blink or BKB.
They just turn around and make it work.
Yeah, it's FY. You know, he got caught out again outside the Roche pit. Puck managed to coil him, initiate on him. Without that Shaker, their team fight is really not that strong. Abaddon was jumped on as well right away, had pop borrowed time right at the beginning. And if both supports are so out of position, you can almost never take a fight against this dire lineup. Also, DK, as I said, I don't like this armlet at all.
Yeah.
He did nothing that fight. He stunned the guy and ran away.
It seemed like...
Because he can't fight against this Timbersaw, you need a BKB on this DK. You need a BKB.
It seemed like everybody kind of did nothing in that fight for Elephant. Like, the only thing that we saw happen was Morphling dropped his own tombstone.
Yep. Oh,
Ooh,
good.
Stun.
Fissure.
It's keeping Irving away from his team, but the Soul Rip's there from Zhao Fu. He can Timber Chain in a second. That's exactly what he does.
Yep. It's not an easy spot anymore. This DK needs to farm his BKB first. They need to get the items up. Morphling, of course, we also spoke about, you know, it's a weird itemization. You have the Shaker Morph, but you're not utilizing it until very late in the game, which at that point might be a little bit too late. FY has been pretty underwhelming so far. He got caught out of position a lot of times this game. Last team fight as well. LBZS is doing a really good job at shutting him down in those team fights. They've
done a really good job just overall. I think they're really, and this is what we talked about from LBZS. It felt like the pieces were there. They just weren't executing it. Now the question is more so Elephant, like what's going wrong with them?
Well, Elephant is just, like the itemization is just very weird. You know, the Shaker going for those arcane boots, DK going for Armlet after Blink rather than the BKB, the Troll going for Aghanims in a game where it's not really good. Like the net worth might be only 2k, but the items are not very good on the Radiant side, you know? So it might as well be like 6, 7, maybe even 8k net worth league. Because those items are just not very helpful at this stage in the game.
Wow, so
Roche.
Elephant aren't even going to contest this.
They're scared. This Ursa is very strong. Saint Joshua BKB, he deals a lot of damage, very hard to control. And they need their core items up first. They need the BKB, they need the Aghanims on Morph, then they can fight. They need to kill the supports first, if they can. They're doing too much. Tombstone, permanent heals coming out, another smoke.
Now 5-man smoke from Elephant, they're going to make their way over MS. He's the one who's spotted. There's the Dragon Tail as well as the Fissure. That Aegis is gone so quickly. Now they might have an opportunity to kill him for a second time. MS trying to get away. They look over at Irving as well. There's the roll back from Cat-U. Blink, Echo Slam committed onto the Ursa. It's only going to hit one, but is it enough? They pop the BKB. He gets the Enrage off now, focuses his attention onto the Morphling as the Dream Coil is going to land onto the DK as well as this Abaddon. Eurus trying to make something happen with the Fissure coming across the bow, but it's not going to be enough just yet. BKB's been popping the DK. He's running away from this Undying as they've got the roll in from Cat-U. That's going to stop up Yang. They've got the kill, taking out MS finally. Down falls Cat-U. 2 heroes gone. Irving with the Timber Chain away. They're going to focus their attention onto Zhao Fu, hit with the Fissure, and get themselves a third triple kill for Eurus, and a big fight victory for Elephant.
Yep, perfectly done on their terms. This is why you never just run high ground without any vision.
Yeah.
That Ursa was feeling very confident with his Aegis. BKB, you know, I'm super strong here. Gets blown up immediately, then gets chased, doesn't BKB in time, gets Echo Slammed, chain stunned again, runs away with 200 health, gets chased down, and without that Ursa, they really don't have a lot of damage in those team fights. If Ursa gets jumped on first, more than likely they're going to lose the fight.
So it's an opportunity for Elephant to push. Glyph is used. They'll clean up the creeps, though. Ag's finished for Eurus, and that's going to get delivered.
Scary times.
But yeah, that means double fissures, Space Jam totems.
Space Jam totems, with E-Blade as well.
Yeah.
He can 100 to 0 the Timbersaw at this point. He can 100 to 0 anyone. Maybe not the Puck, because he's a Linken's, but other than the Puck, anyone is going to die.
That's a scary issue.
It is. That's what I'm saying. This Puck needs to itemize into an Aghanims ASAP, which he's not doing.
Aether Lens, he's going into the Octarine, right?
This might bite him back, but DK and Morphling are heavily reliant on BKB for their mobility. You need that BKB piercing coil. I really hope he recognizes that, because that is the winning condition they have.
Up into the air, borrowed time, pop Fissure onto 2. Somnus waiting in the wing, looking to maybe blink and use that Dragon Tail. Cat-U's dead to Eurus, Dream Coil used on FY, Totem, but nothing doing. They've gotten themselves 2 kills, and now they'll chase Somnus. Yang coming in, trying to help with the BKB pop by MS. Chasing after Somnus, who's popped his own BKB, and now they're starting to turn. They'll look over at Irving first. Soul Rip to try and keep him alive. They stunned him up. The Waning Rift, that's going to hinder the Troll as well as this DK. He's morphed into the Timbersaw. They'll go after Zhao Fu. They just don't have the damage yet. MS turning around and now going after Yang. The E-Blade's thrown. He pops the Essence Ring. Yang surviving for a little bit longer than maybe LBZS would have expected. The Waning Rift silences up both the DK as well as this Troll again, but they're just not breaking through this Elephant side. They get the kill on Irving, they take out the Timbersaw, they look over at Zhao Fu, they'll get it a second, as Eurus is now godlike, gets himself 2 in that exchange, and LBZS come away with practically nothing.
Yep, coil expended on the Shaker. We spoke about it before. Other than the coil, they really have nothing to keep him in place. They're just getting kited by the DK, by the morph spells, and even the troll, you know, with the blinding axis, willing axis. They need that coil on more important targets. They can't keep targeting the Shaker with this coil. They need the coil on bigger targets. They really do. That's the only spell they have to keep him in. Earth Spirit, the other one that could maybe do it, but Euros solo killed him on the top lane while they were fighting middle. Yeah, it's tough.
Fissure, Totem, the damage coming in. E-Blade, can they catch him in the phase shift? Ooh, looking for it. Illusory Orb and the Waning Rift.
Close.
Hard to catch.
Very close. The Fissure was just like felt like a millisecond too late. The second one. If that hits, Puck is dead as well. But yeah, now you're in this position where how do you fight against this BKB of a Dragon Knight when BKB is up on the Morphling, you know?
Gotta be weary of the shards too on Earthshaker.
Yeah,
We've seen how strong it is. Fissure, not gonna matter. BKB, that's an early BKB from MS. So how willing are LBZS to push? Because MS doesn't have the BKB to fight anymore.
It's very interesting that he popped it so early. What was he so afraid of? Coil on the Morphling. First time in the
they've got
game.
themselves the silence too, but they just don't have the damage to follow this up. They'll drop the Tombstone. They're trying to chase the waveform away from Eurus, and now he's Yules up into the air. Irving trying to get the control onto Eurus and get the kill, but Somnus waiting again inside Roche, ready to jump out and Dragon Tail. They might even try to rebuttal this and chase into the jungle. Irving trying to get away. He'll throw a Chakram onto the creeps, but hit with that Dragon Tail, now in trouble. Getting chased down. Yang doing some damage, down to about half health. Gets that root. Yules up into the air. Can he Timber Chain away? No, he's stunned up, killed off, and taken out by Somnus.
It feels like the usual LBZS problem. They're always so scared when it comes to these mid-late game engagements. Shaker is dead, but Ursa is scared to run into a Morphling that is almost full strength. I'm not sure. Oh, the Puck and caught up a double Fissure.
There's the Totem right on top. Lincoln's popped and still surviving. Just a little bit of health and the blink away. Totem jump's not going to land, and X is in the trees and back home.
Well done. Good escape. Ursa in a little bit of trouble here. Not really. They got a BKB getting slowed up. Won't be forced to use the BKB, I think.
BKB popped. Enrage as well. Yang pops his own BKB.
He did that many times already. He pops Enrage and BKB at the same time. It's separate cooldowns, separate defensive cooldowns that you want to use, but he's always using them together. Now he has Nida to defend the high ground. I'm not sure how to defend this at all.
That's a big problem. They'll go up onto the high ground. They'll force the glyph, but they've already taken the tier 3, so this really isn't much of a deterrent. They get the Waning Rift as well as the Dream Coil coming through onto the 3 of these heroes. Now you've used Dream Coil, and you don't follow it up.
Yeah. I mean, LBZS is falling apart again in this middle to late game portion, which we always see, you know? Like, it's a very recurring theme with them, where they do really well in the early stages. Early mid-game is also doing very well, but then suddenly it's just like this fear that grips them, it feels like. They're so scared to make things happen around the map. Like, the fighting spirit they have in the early game is just gone in the mid-game. I'm not sure why. Now let's smoke up. While Trolls, that might catch them off guard here.
Fissure, Totem, jumping forward. They've got the Dragon Tail coming through with the Tombstone down. Another Fissure hits onto 2. And now, yeah, you see the power of that shard keeping him close. However, Elephant not committing completely for that jump. Echo Slam on cooldown for another 13 seconds. We can see Elephant back up and go back in again in just a couple moments. I mean, they're staying across the river and they're putting the pressure on. They're actually looking over maybe for X. That Courier also just gets away for the Timbersaw.
I've not seen it in the longest time that you don't itemize BKB on Morphling. He's feeling so damn confident because they're just never getting the jump on him. And again, this Puck. Oh, and a smoke up.
Smoke roll and the Totem away immediately in the blink back from FY. That was a full team smoke. Illusory Orb. Not going to jump towards it. Fissure comes in. That's going to hit onto Irving. Yang going forward, but he's blocked out by his own team's Fissure. Manta popped, and now a little bit of trouble for the Morphling. But Echo Slam coming through, and that's a massive one for FY. It locks up MS, who pops the BKB in the Enrage again. He goes after Sonus, just doesn't have the damage with the Magnetize placed on the Elephant. it's still just not enough. It feels like they're so far behind, even though it only says 5K. MS, CatU, both gone. 2 heroes dead. No buyback available on the Ursa. Irving's going to Timber Chain away, trying to make some distance, but Eurus is right here ready to go as he morphs back into the Earthshaker, puts some damage on the Jiaofu, finds Irving. E-Blade, Adaptive Strike. Fissure hits on the 2. Blink and the Dragon Tail, as well as the Totem. They're locking up these heroes and getting the kills. They'll take out Jiaofu. They'll look over at Irving, who Timber Chains across and back up into the base again. They've got CatU to join them with Geomagnetic Grip, as well as the roll into Yang. He's getting low, but he's not dead just yet. Still going after Irving. They've got 3 heroes alive, and now 4 with the buybacks being committed from LBZS. They'll get the kill on the Yang, and they'll look to get Red Panda. Illusory Orb finish. X gets the kill, but now they're onto the high ground. Double Fissures coming in, as well as the Totem. They get the kill to CatU. The Totem's going to stun up Jiaofu another time as they're chasing again onto LBZS.
Scrappy fights. Man. I don't know how to describe how disappointed I am with this Ursa's like item and spell usage. Again, BKB and Rage pop together. The 4th time in this game. It's like using on Slark a Shadow Dance plus BKB. You will never do that because it's 2 separate, very strong defensive cooldowns, you know. Most of these fights, Ursa's just running away. He's not hitting a single time. You're the highest net worth hero. You need to be able to deal the damage, you know. You need to position yourself better. You need to hit people.
Interesting. Just for a second, I kind of was seeing that the puck's going Dagon, Shard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm seeing here. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this Aghanims is actually game-winning. 8 seconds, disable on Morph, Troll, or Dragon Knight. It's absolutely game-winning. I'm not sure why he's choosing not to go for it. Maybe he doesn't trust his Ursa anymore because Ursa is not hitting anyone, like, ever, but I don't know, it's a very peculiar item build.
Just feels lackluster.
It does. Like, I feel like it doesn't do much at all. Roshan is respawned. They will have to fight this Roshan. You cannot give this morphing an Aegis. He now has a Skadi as well, so it's going to be even harder for that Ursa to fight. Put down the ward. You have to be careful. Ursa can't get jumped first again. Timber needs to frontline. Ursa needs to come in second.
Yeah, it's tough because you want your Ursa to feel confident going in. Maybe
he doesn't feel
that's
confident at all.
A neutral item that'll help him feel a little bit more confident. And he's got the Basher.
Yeah. I mean, really, it just all comes down to how long can this Ursa auto-attack people. He still does a lot of damage, but they have no way to keep the enemy in place. Like, I hate having to come back to this fact all the time, but they just don't. BKBs, you know, what do you do? Nothing. You just run away. You kite the Ursa. Ursa no BKB, no Enrage. He suddenly uses hero.
And I understand you when you're just like, I don't want to harp on this point, but it's such a massive one. Like, it's hard not to harp on something as crucial as that.
Definitely. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna go back for it eventually. I mean, I just hope he will. This Dagon build really doesn't seem very useful to me at all against all these BKBs. Now they have a Heaven's Halberd, they have a Skadi. This Ursa is gonna feel really uncomfortable in those fights. Smoke up at 5 again.
Chakram shows where Irving's at, but the team behind him ready to jump. Elephant making the long trek all the way out and around, trying to avoid them. Ursa's inside the Roche pit.
Rough
So they've kind of changed positions here as Elephant have got the high ground. CatU shows BKB's been popped. They got the Tombstone down from Jiaofu immediately, but there's the Fissure coming through from Eurus. They've got the Dragon Tail that locks up Irving. Another Fissure coming out from FY as well as the Totem. They'll lock down this Timbersaw. They get the kill with the BKB being popped by MS. He was disarmed for a second. The Dream Coil coming down, but is it enough? Yang, Samus, as well as Eurus all right here to try and take out MS. Totem and the right clicks coming in, and I believe he's used that Echo Slam as well as the Totem. Look at this, just locking up X. Nothing he can do. 4 heroes gone on the side of LBZS, and now Roche is the reward that Elephant will reap.
Yep, it's just too difficult to fight at this point. Morphing has Skadi, have Heaven's Halberd. He got Heaven's Halberded up before he BKB'd, so his whole BKB, he was just standing there looking at the DK. Well played by Somnus there. And you can just see, like, the Morph is jumping in, out, in, out, in, out. You know, you need to coil him, you need to control him. It's not happening. He's feeling way too confident on this Morphling. Like, you need to punish him for his aggressive plays. But they just can't manage to. Very weird game reading as well from LBZS. They started hitting Roshan while they came in with 5-man smoke from behind. Like, they must have thought they smoked bottom or something, or like, why is nobody showing, you know, they just hit Roshan. Very peculiar decision, but seems like it's just GG.
Yeah, they'll go for the tier 4s. They'll go towards the Ancient. LBZS, they're holding on hope. They're trying to make something happen. The Fissure comes in. They get the kill onto Jiao Fu. It's just 2 against the world right now, and Irving, he's tanky, but he's not that tanky. Yeah. He'll drop everybody gone once again on the side of LBZS, and there it is. The Ancient explodes, and Elephant, they get themselves a pretty convincing victory towards the second half of the game, because LBZS did look good in the first half. I think they played that pretty well, again, up to a point, and then all of a sudden, it's all Elephant from there.
Yeah, pretty, not very exciting finish, just running down the throne. But again, I don't think if your Elephant is what you're looking for. You struggled quite hard up until that late mid game, where of course you started outplaying them, your individual plays started coming through. But against those higher tier teams, that won't work. LBZS, hate to say it, but every game is the same story. They do very well up to like minute 20, 25, start falling apart. Suddenly, their hungry spirit, like let's go for these kills, the aggression is just gone. I don't know what's happening inside the team, but it's every game is the same story.
Yeah, so they gotta take something away from this and try to build off that, because there is success that they're finding. But Elephant, they do take game 1. They have a 1-0 lead, and now it's time for the panel to give us their thoughts. So back over to you guys over on the panel. Let's see what you got.
Thank you very much, B-Cop and Black, for that lovely casting in this lovely game 1. I'm here with my lovely panel. But yeah, no, that was unfortunately LBZS dropping the first match here. It was expected. I think they did better than maybe we would have thought coming into it, but still eventually it did crumble away.
LBZS looked the best so far, in my opinion. Still a lot of mistakes. Some of those mistakes are rookie ones. Ursa feels so strong, getting that BKB plus Aegis, climbs uphill with no vision. It happens to everyone. I see it quite often. And then you just get blown up a lot of the stuns, and after that, the game just falls apart. Elephant still not looking good.
Yeah,
a lot of
definitely.
mistakes.
I was arguing for the arcane boots for the Shaker.
Yeah.
These two fellow panelists do not think that arcane boots are that good.
Oh,
on
it's
Shaker.
awful.
And after,
There's just better things.
All right, so I'm still not 100% convinced that it's that awful. But after watching this game, the moment he got Blink is the moment the game changed completely for them. So if you get it a little bit earlier, you need that 1-mana item still. In any case, I think Morphling is the MVP of this game, together with the Shaker, but
Shaker just by existing, so Morph can actually morph into Shaker. Yeah.
Use my body.
And before that, before the Aghanims was purchased, he was constantly finding that Undying, dropping the Tombstone. If you remember the fight when what Lacoste was talking about, when Shaker goes up, when Ursa goes uphill, the reason why they were able to chase them all down is because of the Tombstone as well. That was on the high ground, and there's no way for LBZS to fight that. So overall, this Ursa too, always enraging a BK being, like Black has said.
It's a tough one. I mean, both of these teams played sloppy, a lot of mistakes. I'll focus a bit on the itemization, even from the winning team, where Elephant, like DK, gets double bracer, power treads, then buys like a casual gloves for some reason, then decides to get into BKB, goes back the armlet. Usually, like, you want to get either armlet into Blink Dagger or like just get straight up Blink Dagger into BKB. So a lot of weird stuff happening. Let's say Hood on Troll was okay, because it's an off-lane Troll. Then he decides to get the Aghanim Scepter. You don't get any value from that item in this game. Usually it can be really good. You're playing into 2 silences. The best thing you can dispel is Overpower on Ursa. That's it. And you can't dispel things on yourself, so I think he got debated there. To go back to the mana boots talk, it's a 900 gold investment.
It's a lot. Yeah.
We see, like, it was a 19-minute Blink Dagger, which is pretty late considering, that you didn't have that many deaths. It's just very hard to find farm on the Earthshaker. Most of your gold comes from the bounty runes, some assists, and just a passive gold income. So
alrighty. Let's have a look at our MVP for game number 1, and to absolutely nobody's surprise, it is of course going to be Eurus on the Morphling. There's some very full-looking bars, if you ask me.
Yeah.
34.4k hero damage, 388 CS.
Kill participation, what is
16
that?
kills.
0.43? not participating in every single kill. Shame on you, Eurus.
Honestly.
But yeah, overall, just he did carry. He did carry hard this game. There were some misplays like catching puck or not catching puck, let's say, because he Z-bladed a couple of situations that might have been played a little bit better, but no one can blame him. Overall, always turning into Undying, positioning his tombstone well, fighting around the Ursa, E-blading him, eliminating the supports first. Pretty good.
Pretty tasty. Pretty tasty Morphling plays from Urus, earns him the MVP here in game number 1. We will have game number 2 just around the corner. We've seen glimmers of hope from LBZS, but they do still need to pull things together if they want to stand a chance of taking a game off the mighty, mighty Elephant, who are trying to find their step. Guys, we're going to throw it over to a short break, and then we'll be back with more Dota 2 action here at the Chinese DPC, brought to you by Perfect World. Circuit, where we are here with the Chinese region. My name is Nomad. Joining me on the panel today is Lacoste and Lizard as we break down game number 2 between LBZS and Team Elephant. Now, just jumping very shortly back to that last game before we move on towards hopefully brighter horizons, the last point I want to visit is this puck going for the Octarine over the Ags.
Oh, that's just... I think I might sound too negative because I'm mostly focused so far on like the bad itemization, what happened in this game. Yeah, you need that Aghanim Scepter. Like, you want to keep them in place. You're playing against Morphling, you're playing against the Troll, Dragon Knight. You just want to keep them in place so your Ursa can deal the damage. Octarine Core, this is a pub build. It's just, I don't think it does anything, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gold investment for just to reduce the cooldowns.
Yeah,
That's it.
Only thing I can think of is that the puck wanted to just kind of visit everywhere on the map with a boot to travel and kind of just
That's a great point.
make space. You know, he was planning for them to be on the back foot, which just doesn't seem like a smart game. I think there was just some disconnect there between him and
you're playing
the game.
versus a Morphling. You either go for control with the Aghanims or you go for burst damage. Right, you just max out that E-Blade and Dagon, and with that first catch, he didn't ever have a BKB.
Yep.
Morphling never bought the BKB. That's one of the reasons why he's an MVP too, because he was constantly in fights, free to do whatever he wanted to, as they weren't controlling him.
And of course, here we can see the differences in the gold. Unsurprisingly, Elephant got more gold from killing heroes and killing towers because they killed more heroes and they killed more towers. So there you go. Also, a bit more from killing creeps. Of course, you got the Morphling just kind of farming, but not a huge difference there. And other mysterious gold income.
Towers and other. What is other? It's
You know, just some other stuff.
some other stuff just came to you.
Some backstreet dealing from some of these heroes. You know, they've got some moonlighting going on.
Okay, so
maybe,
bounty, passive gold income, bounty is passive gold income, perhaps wards and totems.
Some
and
black
what,
market mangoes to Roshan in the background. Yeah.
Salt cheese.
Salt cheese. Yeah.
Game number 2, guys. We're not expecting great things from LBZS, but do you think there's a chance? And if so, how do you think they should really approach the second game?
I think the approach should be the same. Like, their draft was really good.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, the first 20 minutes of the game were on point.
Yeah.
It's hard to just, pick out on some of the mistakes. Everyone's going to make a mistake. You're going to die here and there. Overall, very good performance, I would say. I said already they look the best so far in this game. It's just that one mistake where Ursa goes
Runs
high
uphill,
ground,
yeah.
you die, and then everything starts to fall apart. You don't even know what to do anymore. You're going for the wrong item build. Like, even if you went for that Aghanim Scepter, considering how you were playing, the way Ursa was moving in the team fights, I still feel like it would not be enough to win this game, because Morphling and Earthshaker is still a very, very strong combination.
I'm worried for LBZS because I know how it is to be the complete underdog, and it always feels like this. You always do one mistake, when you're analyzing your games, shouldn't have done that. And after every game that you're playing versus a tier 1 team, you're like, I shouldn't have done that.
It's easy to say,
Yeah, it's easy to say, and the trick is how do you recover after it? Because you're going to make mistakes. That's just the way it is. Like we could, let's say Elephant lost, we would have harped on about the arcane boots not going into blink first. But even though it is a slight mistake, right? It delays your dagger. They find a way to work around that. They find a way to buy themselves time and execute properly when given the chance.
So do you think that's a case of LBZS making bigger mistakes than Team Elephant, or do you think it's more Team Elephant being able to punish the mistakes which LBZS make?
It's both, right? Like, it's LBZS not optimizing their playstyle to the advantages that they had. They had at Aegis, they had an advantage. They were winning team fights, man. At that point, we were all worried for Elephant. We were thinking they're going to lose. Yeah. But just a higher caliber team prevails.
I was thinking my gamble was going to pay off for a minute, but not the case, as Elephant did take game number 1, much to the prediction of our analysts. And we're going to start things off with the Nyx Assassin being given away of Elephant. Giving away this hero, good idea?
Nyx Assassin shuts down so many heroes. You have like pure damage from your ulti, you have a break mechanic, any kind of uncontrollable damage, Batrider, Lashrak. It's very, very hard to play into Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, I saw Sync playing versus Hoodwink last night, insta-shotting him with the Carapace. Nyx Assassin also is what LBZS tends to ban first. Like we said, Puck and Nyx, they let both of these through, but Elephant did ban out the Puck, so they take one last hero that's highly valued here. Okay, LBZS, they open up with the Troll. We've seen Troll on mid now, on offlane, on safe lane.
It's time for position 4 Troll to shine. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think they didn't want to go for the Puck here? Sorry, then Puck was banned. My bad.
Yep. What else is there left? out of these there's Razor.
Razor, yeah, let's see. Let's see.
Let's go.
I mean, if they don't pick
not
it here,
happening.
you don't bother even banning it out,
Yeah,
I
just
guess.
why do you
Yeah.
ban
I feel like
it
they will
anymore?
anyway. I don't know why, but I feel like they're going to ban the Razor anyway. It feels like tradition at this point. You know, it's not really a meta thing. It's just like we pick the troll, we ban the Razor. The circle is complete.
I want to see some like more control against the troll. Like possibly, I'm a big fan of a Shadow Demon. Like the kiting potential is just too good to miss out in this type of a game. Like Troll can dispel. We've seen the Aghanim Scepter being built from time to time. The previous game is not the best example because he didn't have that many things to dispel. But you know, like Pagna was considered a really good counter to a Troll before. Now with the Aghanim Scepter introduction, the
It doesn't,
dispel it doesn't work anymore.
I'd like to see I'd like to see Pango. But we
Okay,
get
so this is another, when you're looking at supports,
Yeah.
There's Shadow Demon, there's Winter Wyvern as well that counters the troll. You can't dispel his ulti, obviously. Wyvern's ulti, so because of that, it's a really good hero against him. There's a lot of, if it's a position 4, there's a lot of damage coming from the Splinter Blast, from the Arctic Burn in the lane. Overall, just a solid hero, but I'm disappointed, Elephant. You've been picking Troll, banning Razor 5 times in the game. Now that Razor is left in the pool, you don't pick it. What is this?
Okay.
Like, you're playing with us.
What is
Omni
that?
Knight.
New hero.
Let's
so
go,
far.
LBZS. They are spicing things up, adding some chili into this curry.
Okay, so Omni Knight and Troll. I suppose that's going to be a position 5 Troll. Don't see him working out as the off lane. No,
Omni Knight.
position 5 Omni Knight.
Oh,
My
yeah.
apologies.
I thought you were messing
You
with
guys
us.
were like, yeah, that's it. That's what we want to see. So, good against the Winter Wyvern, where you can, you know, still save people during the Winter's Curse. And give Troll World some status resistance. Like, status resistance is kind of something that we don't see since it was removed from Satanic. SNY still has it, but that's pretty much it. And the neutral item, the tier 3, still has it, but other than that, it's just gone.
Beastmaster banned out by Elephant, Morphling by LBZS. What else will we see from LBZS? Perhaps that Drow Ranger. It's considered the counter. Okay, SF. One of the counters on position 1 for the troll, that is. But
no Razor ban yet.
yeah, you can still flex it. LBZS, I don't want to see them flexing way too much. I want to see them picking the standard drafts like they've been doing, because
It's not their problem.
it's not their problem, really. Drafts are on point. The execution after the laning stage, that isn't really. So if they fix that without fixing the drafts, they can do it.
I can hear Black incoherently screaming from the other room as Elephant have started things off with their support duo, which is his most hated thing in the world.
Yeah, maybe it's a core Wyvern, though. The Witchblade
It's a
Orchid.
possibility. I think you get rid of the TB here, something that the Thrall doesn't like to play into. TB causes a lot of issues, comes online a bit faster, outranges the Troll.
Yeah, it's a funny matchup. Like this TB versus Troll used to be, Troll used to be picked into the TB because of the passes. You lock down, you lock yourself on him, and you just destroy him.
How
with
did
heroic
that
axes.
hero have Bash?
Bash? Yeah. That's. It's
Imagine
one of
if,
those things, you know, you're thinking about, but that's even recent change. That's the crazy part. It's not like 10 years ago. It's a recent change. And now when we're thinking about it, it was broken. It really was. And his ulti, like just the random attack speed to everyone, like you just lose one team fight and your base is gone. Literally, like everything falls.
Good times.
Yep.
Ish.
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 Yeah. LBZS banning out the Timber. So far, their 2 heroes don't do absolutely anything to the hero. If that's
Actually,
the lane as well, he should
I
be
remember
fine.
when Sven used to have the Ags where he'd give God Strength to everyone as well. And they'd have like the
Oh, yeah.
Sven and Troll draft.
Sven
like,
and Meepo.
yes,
Sven and Meepo, like
ridiculous.
Okay, so LBZS, a lot of team fight, like control, a lot of the boxes already checked. Like I like these 3 heroes paired up together, where you have a save, you have a lot of control coming out from the Shadow Shaman, some tower damage on top of that, looking real good.
Shaman really covers the weaknesses of the Omni Knight in the support duo, which is what I always like to see.
Shadow Shaman right now is in a really good position. That Aetherlance Shackle shot from across the map, it's really good. The shard is really nice on him. Instant hacks, obviously, very nice versus Nyx when he's creeping around. If you have a sentry planted, also helps you out with a lot of heroes that are mobile, a lot of carries that is, and mid laners that is.
Comparing Shaman to Lion in the support role really does make Lion just look like a little weenie.
Lion has his own strengths, but I'd rather have Rasta's ulti than Lion's burst.
Yeah,
That's
There it is.
oh, we got him.
It happens.
For the first time in history, my notes don't work anymore. Throw them away. Razor has been drafted.
Banned 20 times over the past 10 games. Razor finally comes out to play for Team Elephant.
And
Don't question it.
Now, suddenly, Shadow Shaman mid, position 5 troll. This is some crazy thing
Got
like
him.
that. Yeah.
Or
All right.
Mars mid. We've been enjoying that yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah. All right, Elephant is banning out these heroes now that are decent versus Razor on the mid lane. The Quap has been banned out. They can still flex it. They can put him in a different lane. They could even lane him versus the Troll, but that's not where he is really strong.
Yeah, you just want to get the levels on the Razor and not fight him early on. You know, just save that for a bit later. Guys, you need to chill for the 10 minutes. Then you can go in and fight.
See, I find Razor and Viper very comparable, right? Because they were a very similar hero, maybe a bit too powerful at some stage, and then they were like, okay, we're going to nerf them a lot. And they're like, okay, but we're going to give Viper this break mechanic, so something interesting he can play around, can kind of always have usefulness. And then with Razor, they were just like, yeah.
Now, they tried to do something similar with the Razor. They tried to give him the chain attacks, which pretty much allows you to be in the to attack a hero without drawing aggro, right? But it just didn't seem powerful enough, especially how the mid lane is changed right now. You can't really dive that much, even without drawing aggro. So Razor fell off completely. I thought that the hero might be good in some situations, but in those situations he was always banned, and we finally do see him versus the Troll. What's left, by the way, in the pool that's good against him?
Against Razor?
Yeah, all like the.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
what is good against Razor?
I think everything?
Nah, usually you see it like in.
Lina, possibly.
All right.
Like outranges the Razor. You don't care
Lina
too much
into
about
Nyx
it.
and Centaur, though?
It can be
Seems risky.
problematic.
Just Lina in general, I'm personally not a big fan, especially on the mid lane where you're still very squishy.
So you're just suggesting it because you want them to lose, or?
No, I'm just thinking about how other teams have drafted so far, and they seem to prioritize Lina in certain matchups.
TB is still. Is it still? It's still in the pool, right? Hasn't been banned out by LBZS. This should be Elephant TB, right? It is versus a Mars, but overall, solid hero that would help them push as well. They go with the Wisp, all right?
Ooh.
A completely different approach.
I mean, all right. So last time our complaint about the Wisp is that there wasn't really anyone for him to play with. He can play with Razor.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
It's
okay. It's not bad at all. If he takes a lot of damage from the Troll, then you can overcharge, give him that attack speed that he doesn't usually have.
Spell damage on Razor's very nice as well.
Pretty good, pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking this. LBZS. Is there any ace in the hole they can pull out here? Any Jack of Clubs? Any Ace of Spades? Any Two of Diamonds? I don't know. I don't play cards.
If Quap is banned, historically we would see Mirana versus Razor mid, but that's not really a mid hero any longer.
What about like Dead Prophet? Just
Dead Prophet as well.
Just go on all in on the team fight with the Mars, Omni Knight, Dead Prophet. Like even if I see Lina here, that's not gonna be wow. Yeah, Lina is a game-winning hero.
Ancient Apparition mid.
Let's go.
Versus the Wisp. Nah, you don't want that, but...
hey, with Witchblade, it's still very bad, but
still very bad, yeah.
It's entertaining at least.
Let's see...
Storm Spirit.
Really?
Going to be the final pickup from LBZS. Indeed it is. Guys, I see apprehension in the face of Lizard, and I would call kind of quieted contemplation from Lacoste.
I'm just thinking, how good of a Storm Spirit game this is. There's 0 silences, so that's something that he really likes to play into. Nyx Assassin, 1 stun, Wyvern can set things up, and he has help of the Omni Knight here, so could be okay. Great against Io, finding him,
versus Wyvern as well, it's great.
Sure, yeah. Looks like an okay Storm Spirit game. I'm just really not sold out how LBZS plays post 20-minute mark so far. Like, their drafts have been really good. Like, this is one good-looking draft, don't get me wrong, but still have to go with the Elephant. Like, now I like Razor plus an Io. Io has the partner to play with. Team fight reset, Nyx Assassin, you get so much out of this hero. I'll go with Elephant.
Lacoste going with Elephant, Lizard, Elephant. Nomad, I think I'm going to go with Elephant, Nomad. Okay, cool. So 3-4 Elephant then across the board this time around. Nobody really going for LBZS. I'm not going to get burnt twice. And I've got to say, I like the Io Razor idea. I think it's pretty cute. Let's get the ideas off our casters. We, of course, have Beacop and Black, our favorite father-son casting duo. Guys, what are your thoughts on these picks?
I like Elephant's picks. I have a little bit more faith in them after they won that game, but it's still up in the air on whether or not they can look as clean as they have in the past. I'm still going to go with Elephant regardless, but...
Black, can you swing the scales in LBZS's favor, or is it 5 for Elephant?
I'm loving the Io Razor combination. It's really good. The Storm might be a little bit of a problem. I got Nyx for that, And this Razor shard, this game looks to be really good because it gives you like a 2.5 second purge, which is really good against this Guardian Angel. So we'll see how that goes.
Alrighty then. Well, we'll throw it over to Beacom and Black to take it away for the cast for game number 2 of LBZS versus Elephant here at the DPC China League. Take it away, boys.
On the game number 2, thank you so much, Nomad. Yeah, Elephant up against LBZS. I'm still waiting for the moment where it looks like Elephant are Elephant. But maybe this is the game where they break out, they do everything right, they feel good about themselves, they start to really gain momentum, take it 2-0. That could feel pretty good. But
does it though?
Who knows?
I mean, LBZS, no offense to them, but their team, they should be walking the park for a team like Elephant,
True.
I'm sure they're not very happy with their game 1 performance because they've been struggling until like minute 25, which is not something you would expect.
Yeah.
If you're like a superstar team. But they won the game, maybe as you said, it's momentum swing they needed. Draft looks pretty damn good this time around. They got initiation, they got save, they got catch, a team fight.
30 seconds to battle.
I'm liking it.
Yeah, I like what they're providing here. We'll see if it ends up being enough. But I don't know. I just want Elephant to look like Elephant. I think we all are. We all are in that boat where it's just like, is this team going to look like the superstar squad that we expected them to be?
Yeah, I mean, so far, definitely no. But they still have time, until you lose. I think 4 games in China or Omni Knight. A little bit low here. Just some initial little skirmish, trading some hits. But I think in China, the top 4 go, right? So I think you can almost... I think even if you have 4 losses, you can still make it with the wild card. Worst case.
3 and 4.
Yeah, like if you have 3 and 4, I believe.
That would be tough. Yeah, top 4 make it. It ends up being the 3rd and 4th go to the wild card.
Exactly. So I believe if you're 3-4, it's probably a tiebreaker for the 4th spot or something. Obviously not in the position you want to be in. You want to be in those top 2, so you go to the major, possibly even the playoffs right away. But that is not looking too likely.
There could even be a tiebreaker, right? Like, do we play? I'm not entirely sure on how tiebreakers work if 2 teams are there tied for 3rd and 4th or 4th and 5th. I might be head to head.
I'm also not sure. Like, we'll have to read up on that later.
Yeah.
Because all these tiebreaker rules are always
Different.
a little bit iffy. Double courier kill on the Dire side.
Panda and FY both getting
nice double stun. Carry Io again. Rushing for a Dominator, of course.
Do you want this carry IO go Dominator Ags?
I think this game he could get away with an Orchid because it's really good against Omni Knight, Shaman, and Storm. Storm hates playing against Orchid. It means he has to get an early BKB or Yule.
Oh, Spear with the God's Rebuke. Irving getting first blood over Red Panda. This is a 5-position Nyx Assassin. Do you like it in the 5?
Usually not a big fan. I thought it was going to be 5 Wyvern and a 4 Nyx Assassin, which I think, of course, it makes the lane a bit weaker. But a 5 Nyx just always seems to be a little bit lackluster in the lane, you know. Can't really trade very well. And we often usually just free farms. You don't offer too much support. But, you know, come level 6, you can set up a couple of ganks here and there, especially with the relocate, with Centaur as well. There's a lot of cute plays you can make. And this lane for Storm is not the easiest. As you can see, level 2 static link, draining 72 damage, which is basically leaves him at 0.
Yeah, and that
You can't
means
last it anymore.
you're hitting for 132 right now for Somnus.
Yeah, he has to be careful on Storm here. Like, taking a couple of these hits is pretty bad for him. He's taken like 4 hits. Stepping up a little bit too far.
Is this a game where FY wants to go damage, say maybe a Witchblade, or is it more so what we've seen from other Winter Wyverns, Blink, Aether Lens, just trying to keep yourself away from the fight, land a good Winter's Curse, and that's what you're supporting?
Oh, not first blood actually.
Somnus gets the kill onto X. Solo kill.
Yeah.
And that is what you were saying. Can't let yourself get too many
It's just a
shots
consequence
taken.
of what happened like 20 seconds before it, where he just took like 5 hits with 150 damage in your face. Shackle on the Nyx Assassin, God's Rebuke coming through as well.
Spike Carapace, but they'll wait for it. Tether's not enough. Red Panda dead again. Cat, you getting credit for that one.
Close. He has to be careful with his positioning because Io is not a hero that has any stun or silence, so he cannot cancel the Shackle if Nyx Assassin is Shackle, and it usually leads to a pretty easy kill. But coming back to your question, I would love Winter Wyvern if he rushed Orchid this game. I think Orchid this game is really good, as I said, against Storm, Omni, even Troll, you know, he won't go for early Dispel. I think there's a lot of good Orchid targets. It's very good on Winter Wyvern anyways, especially if you're post 4. It's quite cheap. It's like 3,300 gold now, so I would definitely like to see that. Omni taking a lot of harass damage here.
Yeah, Xiaofu on the run from
No
FY,
boots.
and he'll just give up on it. So if Winter Wyvern goes Orchid, are you looking for an Orchid on both Wisp and Winter Wyvern? Like, is that value? Stun, hold on. Irving, running back. It should be fine.
Io is not really a killing support.
Yeah.
I mean, a killing carry. Would that be too much? Good question. I think it depends on how far ahead they are. If they're really far ahead, I think it's all right. If they're not really far ahead, I think I would just like to see the Axe into BKB. Makes us much more sense, you know. But I will see. Like early game seems to be okay. Tether, nice. Up 1k gold ahead already, and most of that comes from the mid lane. It's a tough lane. He's
Already
getting chased down
chasing
again.
X. Oh, with the Ancients! They're helping out Somnus. Getting another kill onto X.
Yeah, he triggered those Ancients with the plasma field.
And now he's rude to kill them.
Yeah.
They just helped him get a kill.
Why would you do that? That's kind of mean, actually.
Yeah. Assisting you to get that kill onto the Storm, and then, yeah, I'll take your gold too. It's fine.
Yeah, if we look at the mid lane, 1.5k gold difference. That is an absolute destruction. 2 levels ahead. Whew. I mean, Somnus showing why he's still considered one of the best mid laners in the region, you know? And maybe it's finally his game to shine again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
lately.
tough, though, for this Storm to come back. We've seen it before. Makoto did it yesterday twice with the Storm. But this might be a difficult game to get back into it. They've got the Shackle again. God's Rebuke. Red Panda on the run. Pops that Spike Carapace, but kind of lines himself up to get speared to that tree. They've got the Tether, so the sustainability is pretty nice in this lane. And now the 2-man stun. They brought over FY. Cat-U getting low. One more shot. Down he goes. Eurus gets the kill onto Cat-U. And that's a good rotation from the Winter Wyvern, as you've left the Centaur alone, but he's tanky enough to most likely survive the time that he is by himself.
Yeah, and it looks like all 3 lanes are winning. Side lane's winning a little bit. Mid lane getting absolutely dominated, which is close to 3k gold already. And
God, another kill, Somnus.
too much damage.
He is going off so far. Stun onto MS, who's still chasing Yang.
And Brook could mean death
They've
here.
got TPs, and this is the Razor coming in. MS might want to get back. He's in a little bit far. Saunus with the Plasma Field, and another kill for him, already dominating. I mean, this is what we expected from Elephant coming into the tournament.
Yeah, this time around they actually have a really good draft. They might have an Impale here. A lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, he doesn't have mana to really do anything, and Red Panda still holding the stun, has it, but doesn't even need it. Eurus chasing down this Mars. 6-2 Elephant, still on that 2K lead, but the top 3 on the net worth are all Elephant-sided.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how LBZS is going to play when they're behind. I've never really seen them lose the lanes. It's just going to get tougher from there, you know? Like, winning lanes in Dota means the mid-game is much easier to play. Losing lanes makes it very, very difficult. So I'm a little bit scared for LBZS here, considering how the past couple of games went for them. But yeah, this Razor is... he's absolutely destroying right now. The Storm is almost 2K net worth behind him.
Yang getting chased, has the Stampede, able to escape. I want to just harp on something that you said really quick. It's so crazy that you said LBZS, they're yet to lose the laning stage, but they still haven't won a game.
Yeah,
that to me is wild. A team that can be so dominant early, and obviously that's not the case in this game so far, but they have been historically, and yet they haven't been able to close it out. They haven't been able to extend those leads. They have once. They did have that big lead up against Vici, which they ended up blowing, but it's just shocking that a team can be so consistent in the laning parts of these games and still not come away with a victory.
Yeah, at the same time be so inconsistent later in the game.
Yeah.
Arena Spear here on the next assassin. Check the follow-up.
Should be a kill, and one more shot. Red Panda falls. Stun doesn't land on either the Mars or this Shadow Shaman.
Yep, Razor itemizing into the Yules, of course. Biggest counter to Razor, just TP out, forehead. But of course you can't do that once the Yules is up. There's a lot of damage.
MS in some trouble. Has his ulti, but now turns around and just gets double-edged by Yang.
Yeah, there's no play he can make there. If he ults, he's going to get cold embraced on the Centaur. He's just going to kill himself on the return, basically. 3-hero rotation middle on the Razor here. No, his TP got cancelled, actually, so never mind. There was a Mars TPing in and he got cancelled.
Yeah, they get the kill on the cat. You now that look over at Irving, so they got themselves one. They stop that TP. Not sure Razor even dies with the 3 heroes coming in.
And I think if you get shackled on a tower, he's in at least a little bit of trouble. But of course, Nixus hasn't canceled a TP. TPing back to bot lane again.
And they'll have the Mars come out, but Yang, he's already on the run. He doesn't have Stampede at the moment, but it's up in just a second. So how do you catch up with this guy? As once he sees the Mars, he's going to Stampede.
Without Arena even. I mean, LBZS is looking really flustered right now. Like the movement around the map, the TPs they're making, everything seems very unplanned, you know? Now they have 4 heroes bottom, trying to fight for the bounty rune, but Dire Observer Watch saw everything, so more than likely they'll just concede 1 rune and take the other 3. Haven't seen LBZS like this before.
No.
Usually they're the ones in the driver's seat right now.
And you kind of question what they can do when now they're down by so much, as they're going to lose Cat-U again, 9-3 in favor of Elephant with a 5K lead. And, well, they finally get a kill onto Yang. He's been elusive up to this point, but it just doesn't feel like enough. You know, you're not slowing down the Razor. You haven't slowed down Eurus, who is going into that Ags after the Helm of the Dominator.
Finally.
I don't mind it, you know. Obviously, Ags is really good on this Wisp.
It's the best item on him.
Yeah, there's nothing to mind, I feel like, with that item.
Yeah.
Just the timings.
I'm just happy that he's finally going for it. Because last time we casted him, he barely got it at minute 30-something.
Yeah. And it's just too late at that point.
It just gives so many good stats, you know. It gives almost 400 health, permanent spirits, which helps far much faster. It just makes so much sense. I don't like this Orchid on the Storm, admittedly. It's going to be very late. Usually you have it at around like minute 11, 12. His is going to be like minute 15, 16 even. They'll have a lot of counterplay on the Dire side.
Who are you killing with this Orchid?
I mean, you can kill the Wyvern and the Nyx, of course, but there's just too many counterplays to it, you know?
Arena down as well as the spear, but they've got the Winter's Curse. That'll control up the Mars. And now the Hex is used with the Serpent Wards, but he gets outside them. The question is, can he survive? The Cold Embrace is there for Somnus, doing a lot of damage on the Cat U, also stealing a lot of damage. Ball lightning in. Somnus here with a Vortex. They might get this kill, but they miss the spear, the Stampede. He's got some distance. The ball lightning in again, but the stun is there from Yang. No mana left for this Storm. They get the kill on Irving as well as X. They've taken out the Shadow Shaman, make it a 4th with Zhao Fu dying, and it's time to farm the wards. Elephant up 7k, 13-4 already.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much we can say about it. It's just absolutely getting outplayed, you know? It's a destruction. LBZS is looking completely lost. Their rotations are quite slow. You know, they use arenas on not really good targets. Nyx Assassin gets a Carapace off. Troll didn't even want to join that fight, you know. I think if he did, they could have gotten 2 or 3 kills. But even if he does, you know, he just gets linked up, jumps in on the Razor here. Here's a Yule Star in the region room.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a kill you're going to get. Now the Yule sets up for Yang. You've got the static link. Ooh.
No Storm follow-up. Interesting. It must have missed the timing there, because there was a kill.
Looked like one for sure.
Interesting. Well, even the best make mistakes, of course.
Yeah.
Except me.
Yeah, I don't make any mistakes on it.
Yeah, I know. I've seen him play. It's legit.
It's actually just mistakes. Electric Vortex used onto Eurus. Axe now focusing his attention onto the Centaur, the Cold Embrace. The spear comes in, but they've got Ether Shock as well as the extra damage to take out Yang. They've killed off the Centaur a couple times. They'll look after Red Panda, who pops the Spike Carapace, lands the stun onto the Storm. Meanwhile, Yule's onto the Troll outside the fight. They're looking for MS. They'll take out the Troll, and now it's time for everybody else. Mars, he's hit with the Winter's Curse. They're chasing forward Irving. He's got some mana to play with, but not a lot of help. And this will be another kill here for the side of Elephant as Irving dies to Eurus, making it a double.
Yeah, and now we see why Razor's always banned out when there's a Troll. He did absolutely nothing. He can just run away, get his damage drained, and then he has like minus 150 damage. Even with the Battle Fury, you're still minus, you know? Like, it's just one of the hardest counters in Dota. Always has been, probably always will be. And if you're playing from behind, not a lot of plays you have as Troll. Aghanim's finished already, minute 13.
Yeah,
Brutal
and now
timing.
they go for Cat U. Serpent Ward's committed again. They've got the Storm coming through, but there's the stun onto this Shadow Shaman. They get the kill to Cat U, and with X focusing Red Panda, goes into the Cold Embrace, but they've left him for dead. The spear doesn't land, and now everybody else from Elephant is able to escape.
Yeah, he was trying to relocate out the Nyx. But he died a little bit too fast. Nice try there, you know, giving a little bit of the support back. But not really. You're just acting like you are. You don't actually care. As long as you're farming, you're happy. Smoked up here on the...
support death? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Who cares, right?
I usually care. It's the position that I
Solo
think
smoke
I
on the
can
Centaur
play.
here. Who now has completed the Blink Dagger. Double damage bottled up on the Razor.
This pressure is...
Relentless.
Yeah. And I don't know... At what point is it just too much? Like, 10k down already.
Feels like it already is too much, honestly. Like, the map is very small for Radiant to play right now, especially when the Nyx starts running around, the relocate gangs start coming out, you know. Centaur has Blink Dagger now. The map is just going to get smaller and smaller. Eventually, you have to fight, because you're just going to get more and more in a deficit.
And you have nowhere else to go if the map just gets too small.
Yeah, and you see, even the bounty units get taken away. 4 bounties for the Dire side.
And that's not the first time.
Yep. So he went into the Adderlands on Wyvern, and I believe...
Queued up Witchblade after that.
He's going Witchblade after that. Yeah, interesting.
Arctic
no
Burn
Orchid,
onto Irving, but
so
nobody
much
else
damage.
here.
Half health. Just from a pos 4. Nyx Assassin setting up top, but they seem to be sniffing it out. They have a sentry there as well. Sentry ops, very good, guys. If you're playing pubs against Invis heroes, put sentries and ops together so you can see them. Don't just waste your money on sentries and spamming them around, which I see a lot.
Maelstrom finish for the Troll. Still feels like a lot needed for him to get anything done. Winter's Curse. Shadow Shaman's here with the Mars. They've got the Hex, but here's the relocate. Now the arena's down, but it doesn't catch anybody. That immediately leads to a Mars TP. MS gone, Cat U dropped, and now the Mars is back home.
Oh. Easy. It's just, you know, you can always outnumber them. Relocate coming in. Very, very easy kills. And this is the biggest problem Troll has against Razor. Troll always has this turnaround potential. Hold that thought. Maybe the Storm is going to get caught here. Under vision, though. If there's a Yules, he might die.
Lightning, but not a lot of mana to work with. And now the stun hits. They've got Razor looking for this kill onto the Storm. They'll take out X. They look at Zhao Fu. There's nothing he can do. Just food for Somnus, who is 8-0-6. Or sorry, that is the Wisp who's 8-0-6. You've got the Razor who's sitting. Yeah, okay. They're both 8-0-6.
Yeah. Looking easy. But yeah, like the biggest problem for Troll in that matchup is you always have the turnaround potential, right? 100 health, you press that R button, you get back to full health again because of your life lead from the ult. Not when you're drained, because you did 0 damage, you have 0 HP gain.
Ooh,
nice spear.
Serpent Words and the spear, trying to get the kill on an FY. He's got the Cold Embrace if he wants to extend his life. The Hex and the Shackle. Can't get it off, and maybe would have been able to throw Winter's Curse, but at the same time, it's not really much value as nobody else is there to help.
Yeah, another Yule setup possible here. They're still playing under vision though. But they don't even know that there's a ward there because Storm didn't jump away. They got caught. So they're not even expecting it to be warded.
Tactical.
Yeah. Troll going for the Maelstrom. It's the only play you have against Razor. You have 0 physical damage, so you're trying to proc as much max damage as you
Stun
can.
lands, though, coming from the high ground. There's the arena drop by Irving. You've got a bunch of heroes, 4 here for LBZS. But the static link from Somnus stealing all that damage and now throwing it back to get the kill on the Yang. MS in the battle trance, but how long is that going to last before he ends up dead? That's your answer. He's gone already. Winter's Curse locks up 3, and this is going to go horribly wrong for LBZS. X is gone. Make it another with Zhao Fu dying afterwards, and Mars and Shadow Shaman, the only 2 that escape.
Yeah, I think that's the best of a fight you can ask for. Getting a good arena on 2. 2 of the biggest heroes as well, like the Centaur as well as the Nyx. You know, the 2 initiators. Killing both of them off quickly, but you have no steam left in the tank. They're just too tanky. Troll had to expend ult, getting all his damage drained once more. Wyvern respawn to Pete middle. Good 3-man's curse.
The entire time they're in that arena, though, static link's connected.
Yeah, it's just super tough. You know, like do you decide to not fight or do you fight into the static link? Also playing behind against the core IO just feels terrible.
Ball Lightning looking towards FY, but Somnus is in, so is the Nyx. You can focus your attention all you want on the FY, but is it worth it when Somnus is just wrecking the backlines? Gets the kill to Cat-U. There's the Electric Vortex. They still can't get anything done. Spike Carapace stuns up the Storm. He's got no mana to play with, but just a little bit is there for him to get an escape with the Ball Lightning, but the 2-man stun on the Mars as well as the Omni puts trouble into the eyes of LBZS. They land the spear onto Yang, but he's so tanky. Under the tower, though, Cold Embrace still surviving. Right clicks in. Down goes Irving. They've got the Yules onto MS as well as the stun from the Nyx Assassin. They'll finish off the Troll. 4 heroes gone. The Storm is the only one who escapes. And again, it is constantly not just 1 hero who dies for LBZS, but 3 or 4 heroes that die for them. Vortex is through. Red Panda survives. Spike Carapace again. Stunned up with the Impale. That was so ambitious, and it does fall apart quickly.
Don't
Nyx
give up.
Does die to the tower afterwards, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, as we said, you have this IO core, he's just keeping all the heroes alive constantly, just too much HP region. He now finished up a BKB. I think playing from behind against an IO core is the worst feeling, probably. Like, it's just too much HP regeneration, too much sustain coming out. It feels so frustrating, you know. He doesn't even have Orchid completed yet on Storm.
He just got it.
Oh, he just got it?
1930
Oh, because
Orchid.
he got the kill bounty for the Nyx, for the tower, yeah. Minute 20 Orchid. Usually, as I said, minute 11. Standard timing. This game.
We thought he might get it at 15, 13. It would be delayed, but it's delayed. It is so far behind.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
He's almost doubled in net worth by Somnus.
Yeah.
Like, that's how this game is going at the moment.
I mean, he got stomped in the lane, but he hasn't found anything after either, you know? It's just... They're just getting counterplayed the entire time.
Red Panda, he's under the sentry, pops the Spike Carapace, now walks out of the range of that ward. But Winter's Curse started, that's through onto Zhao Fu. Anybody going to retaliate on this one? Blink as well as the hoof stop. Serpent Ward's down. Arena's good. This could go well for LBZS. They ball back on the Omni Knight. They've got the silence onto the Nyx Assassin, but the Cold Embrace is there. It's not going to matter. Red Panda as well as Yang are already gone on the side of Elephant. They've used the Guardian Angel. They're trying to run away. Eurus tethered up with the Razor, who's been hexed up. It's not going to matter, though. They're losing numbers. They're losing life. MS and Irving, they'll go down. They look over at Cat-Yu, who is shackling up this Razor, but it doesn't matter. They've got another double for Somnus, and again, only 2 heroes survive. They're not done yet. They relocate into the base. They look over at Irving, who just bought back. MS also buys back into this one. The ball lightning comes through from X. They've got the electric vortex. They lock up Eurus. They finally take out a Wisp, but down goes Irving again. He's gone for 70 with the double damage, having a couple more seconds on it. MS on the run with the Arctic Burn. Somnus thinks about going back in. He'll finally leave with his Wyvern in tow. And this, again, is LBZS losing numbers in mass.
Even diving into Tier 4 towers. I mean, at this point, you can tell, Elephant is just kind of playing with their food, feeling themselves, very confident, very sloppy initiation by the Winter Wyvern on the Omni, it's not something you want to do that way. But because they're so far ahead, they didn't really get punished for it. They lose 2 heroes in the end, or 3. But 2 buybacks expanded on the Radiant side, and it is further and further behind. At this point, it's 1k GTM behind.
Storm, again, getting caught. Plasma Field, one more shot. And X is gone again.
Almost solo killed by the Nyx Assassin. But yeah. More than 1k GPM behind.
Yeah, 24,000 net worth lead at just 22 minutes.
Yeah, it's a brutal destruction. Man.
It's demoralizing.
It is. Especially after having a good game in the first one,
Blink stun coming in from Yang. There's the tether all the way over. I believe relocated. Yeah. Jiaofu ends up dead. MS on the run. Can they catch him? Arctic Burn runs out. Yang, though, he does have Blink in just a couple of seconds. Fainting the hoof stomp, and now Blink with the stun. They've got the damage. MS trying to survive. There's nothing left in the tank. He's dead again. 74 seconds on the sideline. Hex as well as the Serpent Wards. They're just not doing enough. And you can see how tanky he is and how little damage these Serpent Wards do. Somnus actually diving in deep. They get the kill to Cat-Yu. Somnus with another one. He is 18-0-13. That is a disgusting scoreline. I can't believe it. He is so far ahead. And I guess Wisp is upset because he died once, 11-1-15, but both the 1 and the 2 for the side of Elephant are just dominating at this point. They bought back on Cat-Yu. They get the kill into Irving. They'll finish off Jiaofu again. Shackle, you're standing still. You're ending up dead. Somnus with another one. That'll make it 20-0-14. We're partying like it's 2014 on the side of Elephant as GG is called by LBZS, and it's a 2-0 victory for Elephant for the first time this tournament. A big one for them.
Yeah, I mean, not much to say about LBZS,
Yeah.
They were outdrafted this game, lost the laning phase, very uncharacteristic of the team. And of course, like a team like Elephant won't let you get back into the game,
Yeah, for sure.
It must be very demoralizing for LBZS. But looking on the other side of the coin, Elephant, their first dominant performance in
that second game
any
especially.
of their game.
Yeah,
especially the second game. The first one was kind of iffy. They struggled quite a bit, especially in the early game. But yeah, maybe this is, a sign for things to come. Because
Potentially.
they can, if the chemistry is there, they're feeling good together, they can dominate. And they should dominate, what we're all expecting. Hopefully they can take this win, propel themselves forward with it.
Yeah, this could be a big bump in the confidence for the side of Elephant. We'll see. They do take the series 2-0. They end up looking very dominant in the second game. It was the first time that LBZS, like you said, had found themselves falling behind in the laning stage, and a very good performance by everybody on Elephant. So they take the 2-0. They get themselves their first victory within the league. We'll see what the panel has to say about this one. Back over to you guys.
Yes, they do indeed. Poor old LBZS, they get their cocktails well and truly shaken in this second game, and that's going to mean that they are down 2 games to nothing and yet to win a series. It's pretty brutal, but, good to see Elephant with some domination at last. Razor, 100% win rate. What a hero, wow.
Imbalance, I'm waiting for a patch to strike and Razor
Sick of
gets
this hero.
nerfed. Yeah, just kidding. This is the type of play that I've expected to see from Elephant. Finally, they decide to show up and, yeah, like the dominant performance, completely a stomp. LBZS, something that we usually didn't see from them in the 6 games that they played, is they are getting stomped in the laning stage. Usually they get out at least on even, but this time around it was just really bad for them.
I was thinking maybe they won 5 games in a row in the laning stage. Now if they lose, they'll be able to make a comeback, but sadly it did not work for them. Also, you didn't play against the Razor for like a year, so you still pick Storm into it, which isn't the greatest matchup overall. There were some better picks perhaps for them. This Razor just goes ham. Later on in the game, I felt like Elephant were always in control. They were playing with their food. Like even this fight, this isn't the execution that you really want to have. You're using your curse on a position 5 Omni Knight that you don't know if he has buyback or not, but they still make it work because they're so far ahead that it truly didn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, they came out of the laning stage with 6k gold advantage, 10 minutes in. It's really hard to transition that into any kind of aggressive play in the mid game for LBZS. And yeah, Storm Spirit, no silences against him this time, but playing into Nyx Assassin, and he got completely dumpstered. I didn't know how this matchup works. I don't remember seeing this matchup recently at all, but yeah, seems like it's Razor favored, where he puts a ton of pressure, able to dive, you know, tier 1 tower, some rotations as well on top of that. Just overall strong performance from Elephant, and yeah, I think this might be something that they needed, a bit of a confidence boost, a stomp, you know. It still shows we can play Dota the way we want to play it.
No ages needed as well.
Exactly.
No Roshan, just end it. Relocating
0 ages, either team, overrated anyway.
Relocating under the fountain, man, with that Wisp Razor combo. Yeah, they were feeling it.
Hell yeah. Another thing I liked as well was that the Razor goes for the Yules to set up for the stun for his Nyx Assassin, because sometimes it could be a little bit awkward for the Nyx to try and find the Storm. The Storm just zips away, but this time around, no, just Yules him up. Nyx Assassin's able to get the stun off reliability, and they can kill him in time because that race is just so farmed. So yeah, we finally get to see why this hero has been banned out versus Troll all this time. It does make sense, and Elephant do take the 2-0. LBZS, you know, they were on a I want to say actually a hopeful trajectory before this game, because it seemed like they were pushing the games later and later. You know, they started kind of losing later and later into the game. But unfortunately, this one, they didn't get a handle on the laning phase from the start. I think they lost every single lane, and we know how rough the game can be when that happens. And to absolutely nobody's surprise, our MVP for the second game, it's going to be
Who could it
Somnus again,
possibly be? I don't know.
What a shock.
Somnus? What?
A shock.
Level 22.
Playing Razor. It's a shock.
20 kills.
Yeah, he did work. He definitely did work. Huge amount of hero damage, huge amount of kills, and just generally whipping them in every sense of the word.
Yeah, especially with a hero that isn't really picked a lot, picked often, which probably means that Somnus doesn't really practice it, right? Like you don't play it that much, and he still made it work.
And we didn't even see the Shard this game, which would have been really powerful. I mean, they went for the Ags, which is obviously really good as well, just because they wanted to kind of end the game, and that gives them the building damage. But if they wanted to, if the game went much later, the Shard is really good. It purges up to 3 enemies randomly when attacked, 15% when attacked, or when you're targeted by a spell. And obviously, a Purge versus Omni Knight, always going to be very, very strong, and that could have been a huge game changer in the late game. So shame we didn't get to see that too much, but that is something they had also in the tank available.
They were killing them with like
no one was attacking the Razor. So.
the Omni Knight dies before he gets any of his spells out. That Orb of Venom definitely on
didn't
position
pay off.
5 didn't pay off that much. Like sometimes you can buy Orb of Venom on Omni or Abaddon, you know, and you invest into passives, and then you just run people down, catch them off guard. But this game,
Not even a point in passive. Yeah.
Didn't take a point in passive.
Now
anyway.
that I'm thinking about Razor, he's still a viable hero. You know, you don't necessarily need to pick it just against the Troll. Let's say you pick him against Ursa. You know, Ursa still deals damage through his Fury swipes, and
but
has
it's
an
doable.
Earth Shock to kind of break that leash. But
Maybe
still,
Monkey?
you know, against some of the carry heroes that are very popular. Yeah, you mentioned Monkey. It could work out. So we might see some more Razor being picked up even when he's not against the Troll.
Not sure versus the Monkey. I've seen even the lane Monkey versus Razor. It should go Razor's way, but I've seen Monkeys deal well with him. And then later on in the game, there's a lot of damage coming from the Wukong's command. There's a lot of AoE with your ulti, obviously, versus him. But yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see more Razor. Maybe it's the Omni Knight of the last patch, right? In which, for a year, we didn't see Omni, and then suddenly, last 2 months, he's the most broken.
Right, I'll predict it.
Month,
One more thing about the Monkey King Razor thing. I just realized that the shard would purge off Chingy. So I mean, it's a very minor thing, but that could be interesting to see. Anyway, what was your point there, Lacoste? Before I rudely
wanted
interrupted?
to say that throughout one of these leagues, either Southeast Asia or China, we will see a position 5 Razor.
I think
The bravery, the confidence of Lacoste when he says that, it just makes me believe
It
anything.
has
You
to
can
happen.
say anything.
You know, throughout the history, we're trying to play as greedy as possible with some of the picks, and I can see the potential.
maybe we know a player playing position 5 that did pick that Razor for himself a couple of times in the past, if you know who I'm talking about. He has a NBA player's nickname.
LeBron, huh?
I think they played the Spider Pigs or whatever. They played Razor 5 at some point. They didn't do well with it, but I think it was versus some tier 1 team like Liquid or Secret. They got dumpstered.
Experimentation is a first step to innovation.
Yeah.
And hopefully this was the first step to Elephant to bring themselves back into contention to being a major competing team, but it is still a long way to go, and a couple of chips have to fall in their place for that to happen. And let's have a look at how the standings look after this series. We do now have Elephant going 1 and 2. Again, not expecting them to be in this position, but that win under their belt could be the start of the big turnaround for this team. LBZS, unfortunately, turnaround maybe not on the card. They did have a pretty brutal start to the tournament, but then again, this is a China region. It's upper division. Everything looks brutal. So this team really doesn't match up well into a lot of these teams, but hopefully they're learning, and I think, maybe after the break we might see a new team coming out from them and learning and experimenting, or they'll just continue to be outclassed. I don't know.
They played versus all the best teams so far. Well, like really strong teams. And yeah, in the laning stage they would do well. After that, the crisp strategical knowledge of the game would obviously swing it in these tier 1 teams' favors, but when they match up versus someone a little bit weaker, maybe they can take it.
All right, talking about all these strong, beefy teams we've got coming up, we've got another day of games coming up on Sunday. And let's have a look at the schedule for that day. We're going to have eHome versus IG, and then into PSG LGT versus Team Magma. Ooh, eHome IG. That one could be pretty interesting, as IG did take a game off, took a series, sorry, off Elephant. The team's been looking pretty good. eHome as well, been looking pretty good. Going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up. PSG LGD versus Magma. We're very much expecting LGD to run away with that series. Maybe Magma can give us a strong performance. Who knows? It's a China region. Anything can happen. Guys, we've reached the end of today. I know, I'm very sorry. A very short day, only one series. What have we learned from today's matches, and what are we expecting going forward?
What have we learned? That the Razor is still a
hero.
viable pick. Earthshaker plus Morphling. It's still very, very strong. And we've learned that Elephant can play Dota. They can play a much better Dota than what they've shown us so far, and expect them to do so in the future. Like, I want to see this kind of stuff from the team, from the players that they have. Like, these are international players. You want to see them do good, and I hope they can bounce back, keep this form.
Hopefully. Lizard, final thoughts from you. Share us your wisdom, sir.
My wisdom? There's not a lot, just big expectations from Elephant, hoping to see the same performance versus bigger teams, because LBZS, they're the bottom of the pack, so let's see how they will do versus tier 1 teams. Razor, meta pick, and no matter how strong you are, no matter the advantages that you have, you should never go high ground without vision.
Never go high ground without vision. We've learned that lesson many times over already. Alrighty, guys. Well, as mentioned, we will be back on Sunday to butter your crumpets with more Chinese Dota action. Of course, tomorrow we'll be back with the Southeast Asia region. Plenty of games still to come on the weekend. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you join us, and of course, all the other DPC regions going on across the world. But from us for today, it's going to be goodbye. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.